At my Chase?
Chase
downtown?
The superintendent of schools office.
That's why I'm shocked you have no idea what the hell we're talking about. You drove right through it.
You had to.
No, I didn't. I go west.
Oh,
That's downtown. That's the other way. That's east of me.
But it's all shut down. Trucks and
I thought they used to
Chester, and they have.
No, I go back up 24th to get on the freeway.
Headquarters shut down. City Hall North and South are shut down. Hall of Records is shut down.
And he's still in there with a bomb?
Hostage situation. We've got.
Oh, I know those ladies. It's nothing but women in there.
I'm not saying the names, but I've got people telling me.
Thank you.
I gotta go get April.
I was going to say, there better be 600 bones here, and there's not. Thank you.
He's charged with attempted murder, a charge suspended for now. Formal charges were filed Monday against 18-year-old Michael James Smith III, who was about to graduate high school Friday and instead wrecked his motorcycle by hitting a guardrail on Panorama Drive, throwing his passenger off the back and down a hill. He said he was driving drunk and had charged him with felony DUI. And a man who rammed his own house on Inyo Street Sunday night just after 8 after ramming several cars has been charged with DUI and hit and run, say Bakersfield police. He's ID'd as 21-year-old Alexander.
See you, Lisa.
I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To the rest, well, in a month from now, this Hollywood Big Shot's going to give you what you need. So late, they start shooting in a week. I'm going to make him an offer again.
The Ralph Bailey Show, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
I've seen the promised land.
Oh!
I'll get there with you. But I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hey! It's election day! And you're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com and broadcasting live on YouTube. One of my favorite days of the year. We will get into the local races. I'm particularly have an eye on the 16th Senate race involving Melissa Hurtado, Manpreet Kaur, and Delano restaurateur Guillermo Gonzalez. Obviously, there is a possibility of change in the state of California and in the city of Los Angeles. We'll be following the mayoral race, give you some preview on that, what we can expect, and on the statewide level as well. And we'll also take a look at some primaries going on across the nation in Iowa, Montana, South Dakota, New Mexico, New Jersey, and obviously here. Teresa Golden will join us at the bottom of the hour, and Howard Marcus makes his Tuesday debut. He is shifting from Wednesday to Tuesday. Did Kathy tease that as I texted you and her to tease? No, she didn't, did she? Are you serious? I texted you and her. And neither one of you teased the fact that Howard was.
Their promos did.
Okay. All right.
They had running all day.
This is how Chris, for those that are watching on YouTube, receives my text messages. I'm not.
Look at it and say, more audio, my lord.
Oh, yeah, true. We do have a lot of audio today. Howard will join us at 4 o'clock and then at 5 o'clock. And I would stick around if I you. I know that's a cliche from the broadcast, but this is one show where I would hang around or check back with us at 5:05. Owner-operator of Casey Steakhouse, Cassie Bittle, has a major political announcement to make. She's chosen to break it on our broadcast. We appreciate that. And I guarantee you're going to want to hear what she has to say. And the Knicks and the Spurs get ready to go at it tomorrow night in Game 1 of the NBA Championship. We're really excited about that. I was not here yesterday, so didn't have the opportunity to talk about the Game 7, which was unbelievable. And I had Spurs. So the mush, even a broken clock is right twice. a day, and just a god awful story, because there is has been no bigger critic of Tanner Scott than Ralph Bailey, but he blew a save the other night, and his wife and children have received death threats. I mean, I don't even know how to comment on that. I can understand a World Series. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's just as despicable. You know what that is, though? That's the 21st century. That's what that is. That's the 21st century. Do you know? Well, that's a lie, too. Really. I'm lying. Bill Buckner had to leave Boston. Had to literally leave Boston. Mitch, what was the crazy left-hander for the Texas Rangers? Mitch Scott, Mitch Wildman, what was his name? Blew it to the Blue Jays, gave up the home run to Joe Carter. Mitch Williams? Mitch Wood? What was it?
I'm saying Mitch Garver.
No. Stand by. Hey, Siri, who was known as Wild Thing in Major League Baseball?
Ricky Vaughn is known as the Wild Thing in Major League
Ricky
Baseball.
Vaughn?
The pitcher of the Cleveland
Did she really
Indians
just tell
Major
me
League film series.
Ricky
Vaughn is
Vaughn?
portrayed by Charlie Sheen.
Hey,
That's
Siri,
from Fandom.
in real life Major League Baseball, who on the Philadelphia Phillies was known as Wild Thing? Mitch Williams. He had to leave Texas. He was with Texas when he gave up the home run to somebody that ruined their season, and he got death threats. So I lied when I said the 21st century. It's the nature of stupidity in the world of sports, which saw a fight at Dodger Stadium on opening day, just to give you some sense of where we are. And I'm not certain. I've been wrangling with this for 3 days on whether I should release some Black culture secrets. I don't know if you witnessed what went on over the weekend, some of the graduations across the state, across the country, where young Black kids, how do I put this, acted a fool after getting their graduation, getting their diploma, and some had their diplomas revoked, literally. And there's an old Chris Rock bit that deals with this, and it's a cultural secret among Black folks that we really don't discuss among white folks. But of course, I'm a radio talk show, so I'm going to do it at some point. We'll get into that. But we begin, of course, with Election Day today. This is exciting. As I said, the local race that I'm keeping my eyes on is the Hurtado, Manpreet Kaur, and Guillermo Gonzalez race. If you remember, I attended the debate down at KGT, and I walked away with a sense of a strategy that Gonzalez and Kaur had kind of either tacitly or maybe even openly come to an agreement on. And that was they weren't going to beat up on each other. They're going to beat up mutually on Hurtado. Well, we'll see how that works out. One of them, I don't see Hurtado running away with this thing. We'll see what happens. As I predicted, and it's nothing for me to pat myself on the back on. He didn't have to be a genius to figure it out. But that the Democratic Party was going to flood them with money. They don't want the newcomer. But I think if there is one theme that we see emerge out of today all over the country in these 6 states, as I mentioned, Iowa, Montana, South Dakota, New Mexico, New Jersey, and here, is it's a bad time to be an incumbent. It really is a bad time to be an incumbent. Go ask John Cornyn. Go ask Susan Collins, who's losing to a guy who we'll talk about later, Graham Plattner, who went to Croatia to get a Nazi swastika on his chest tattooed. Why did he go to Croatia? Because in every other European country and here in the United States, it's illegal to get a swastika as a tattoo. So for this guy to do that when he was Chris's age and turn around and say, well, it was just a fanciful error. No. And he's beating Susan Collins, a Republican. He's in Washington today trying to schmooze with senators who are trying to come to grips with the fact that they're basically supporting a Nazi who we just found out over the weekend had 20 sex relationships with women 18 months into his marriage. A year and a half into his marriage, he's sexting other women. This guy is a piece of work. And yet Charles Schumer, who happens to be a Jew, is endorsing. We've got some audio that'll show how they are trying to tiptoe around this guy. And I don't know why Republicans are even giving up a fight. We want Graham Plattner as the Democratic nominee for that Senate seat. It's Susan Collins' only hope. She's a horrible candidate out of Maine. She tries to play, I hate Trump, I love Trump, I hate Trump, I love Trump, and that just doesn't work. You're either on the team or you're not, honey. And, when you're not part of the team, like John Cornyn, who voted with Trump 99% of the time, and yet Trump still went after him. So it is what it is. But the sad news for you, it may not be tonight when we figure all this out. The mayoral race in Los Angeles, the gubernatorial race. Why? Mail-in ballots. Did you know that as long as you have your mail-in ballot time-stamped or postmarked by 8 o'clock tonight, they can receive it a week from today? So if there are races that are razor thin, the only thing that they're going to say on Truxton is, please stand by. If you've got a 2 or 3% lead tonight at 1 o'clock or tomorrow morning, that may not feed the bulldog, because they're still going to be getting those postmarked mail-in ballots. That slows it down. The other part is that as opposed to going to your ballot, your polling place, and actually placing a vote, mail-in ballots have to be signature verified. So that slows down the process. So experts are predicting it could be as late as Thursday until some of these razor-thin races are decided. One thing is clear, and this is kind of the editorial for the day. I listened to Scott's show this morning, and I was really disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to bag on a colleague further than that. Well, bag on a colleague that I like further than that. But I was disappointed because we have a chance. And don't let anybody else tell you that we don't. And even if we don't, even if Hilton doesn't make it, because it depends on what poll you look at. I'm going on my guy, Mark DiCamillo, and the UC Berkeley Institute of Governmental Studies, where he's got Becerra at 25, our guy Hilton at 22, and Steyer at 19. There's a democratically released poll this weekend that's got Becerra at 27 and Steyer at 25 and Hilton at 22. So it just depends on what poll you look at. But it is about the enthusiasm of the Republican Party and the great opportunity for all of us, moderate Democrats included, who have to agree with this couple of things, don't you? Don't we all have to agree on a couple of things? That California, Kern County, Bakersfield, and Los Angeles are much worse places to live than they were 20 years ago. That, can we not agree on that? Are there really people that can hear my voice who think that California is better today than it was in 06? That Kern County was better than 06? Bakersfield, Los Angeles, all better places now than they were in 06? That's crazy talk. So this is the time for change. And even if we fail and Hilton finishes third, even if Spencer Pratt fails and finishes third, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And if it's not 2026, the time for change, then 2030. And if not 2030, 2034. Because does anybody out there that can hear my voice truly believe in your heart that in the next 4 years under Karen Bass or Tom Steyer or Javier Becerra, that California and Los Angeles are going to get better? Is that your true belief? Of course it's not. Of course it's not. It's time for change. And when we come back, we'll talk more about this and how Chad Bianco could have gone from hero to the party to possibly being called by a freckle-faced radio talk show host, if Steve Hilton finishes third, the GOAT. And I don't mean greatest of all time. Because if Hilton gets boxed out in third. Political analysts like, let me think of somebody, Ralph Bailey will say, had Bianco did what I said and got out 2 or 3 weeks ago and said, I see the writing on the wall. I'm stuck at 10%. I'm not going to win, but I want a Republican on the ticket. I'm throwing my support to a man that I don't agree with all the time. I personally don't even like that much, but I care about the party so much. I'm supporting Steve Hilton because I don't like the guy, but even he's better than Steyer and doggone Becerra. But no, Mr. Bianco didn't do that. The sheriff's ego got him, and he maintained his race all the way up to the day at 10%. And now he has no chance of winning. And if Hilton loses at 10%, Bianco has in his back pocket, could have gone a long way. It's going to be a long night. It's going to be a fun night if you're a political freak like me. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6
Hey.
to 9 a.m.
What's with the sign?
The edition of the First Look program. There's a lot going on. We got election results. We got.
It doesn't work? Okay, I thought it was me. What?
Crooked news quiz, and we've got all the latest and state-of-the-art news.
Do that. You should let her know that you're the PD and you made that call. We got some really scary news. I don't know how this avoided me when I was less than a mile from this incident, but there I'm reading from KGT. There's an active bomb threat and a hostage being held at the Chase Bank in downtown Bakersfield, according to the Bakersfield Police Department. The presence is impacting traffic from H to L Streets and Truxton Avenue to 18th Street. Sergeant Celadon with the Bakersfield Police Department said at about 1 p.m., officers were notified of a threat made by an unidentified man at the Chase Bank in downtown Bakersfield. The man barricaded himself in the bank with an unknown number of people. According to the city of Bakersfield, several city buildings are on lockdown due to the presence until further notice. These include City Hall North, City Hall South, the Development Services Building, and Bakersfield Police Headquarters. The Hall of Records building has also been evacuated. Police asked the community to stay out of the area, and we will update you. Chris, keep an eye out if we learn anything. And this touches home for me because that's my bank. I know the manager. I've known the manager who's been there for as long as I've been banking there for 20 years. I know the two Latina tellers. I was just there. You guys know I've been dealing with my card situation and had to go to the bank twice fairly recently. They have about, I would guess, 6 or 7 employees in there. They have about 3 or 4 people that deal with new accounts, and they have 3 tellers and the manager, and I can't remember where they have 1 or 2 security guards. I think they have 2 actually, and they normally stand outside the building. But this, from some reports, are saying that this man is an ex-Marine and that he's got a bomb strapped to his body. And we'll just keep you updated on this incredible story. You know, it's just weird because, like I said, I was just in there, and this was years ago. But my mother visited. Remember the great story? Not a great story, but the funny story about I was trying to tell my mother how to recover some money that was owed to my father from the government. And she came up here and we had lunch, and I told her that she had to go to the Hall of Records. And she went to the Hall of Records thinking that she was going to get paid. And I was like, no, Mom, you have to go to the Hall of Records to get his death certificate. And then you send the death certificate, boop, 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 boop. But my mom actually thought that the Hall of Records, and there's 200, 300, there you go, Mrs. Bailey. And I just thought that was funny. So it's just weird to think that, and if they're, you know, and you guys know where that Chase Bank is and its relationship to the Hall of Records, even its relationship to the Bakersfield Police Department, for them to evacuate that large amount of area must mean that they have some idea of the explosives that this man has, or perhaps is just being safe, because it seems odd to me that they are not, like, what is across from that Chase Bank? I can't visualize that for some reason.
You know, I can't either. I'm never on the opposite side of the street or any of those restaurants, but it was, I believe, a taco place at one point. Like, it's a restaurant, if I'm not mistaken.
And there's a little club across the street as well.
Yes,
which are all closer than the Bakersfield Police Department. That's what I don't understand. All those businesses along Chester are much closer than the damn Bakersfield Police Department that's back on Truxton, like around the corner, down the street and around the corner. And it says in this thing from 17 that they've evacuated parts of City Hall, the Bakersfield Police Headquarters, and the Hall of Records, and the the Development Services Building. So we'll keep an eye on this for you as much as we can. Just a final note. I just think this is a big day for us. And like I said, we'll get into the Graham Plattner situation in Maine a little bit later in the program. But we have an opportunity. We truly, truly do. And again, it just depends on what poll that you're reading. There are 3 main candidates, obviously, for the gubernatorial race, and that's Steyer, Becerra, and Hilton. And nobody knows about the mayoral race either. Karen Bass, Nitya Moran, and Spencer Pratt. Nobody's going to get a majority. Think about this. even if Karen Bass wins tonight, Los Angelinos, like my mother, a liberal Democrat who voted for Spencer Pratt today, by the way. Good for you, Harry Bailey. Hope you're listening, Mom. 70% of the city is basically saying we don't want the mayor to come back. Think about that. If Pratt gets in tonight, he's the next mayor, but we got a long way to go. Quick timeout. Teresa Golder joins us next.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230.
Hey, how are you? Good, good. I'll be right back. Yes, happy election day. Hey.
Is scrapping plans to create a $1.8 billion fund meant to compensate allies of the president after widespread political backlash and setbacks in the courts. Quote, we are not moving forward with the fund, period, Blanche said. Iran stopped communicating with mediators after Israel threatened to bomb Beirut as it fights the Lebanese militia Hezbollah. That's according to two semi-official Iranian news agencies. President Trump is disputing the claim and says talks are continuing. Yet another good day on Wall Street with the Dow up by 228 points. The Nasdaq rose 7, the S&P 500 advancing by 9. More details available at srnnews.com.
If you want unlimited Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. It's primary election day in California, and the polls are open through tonight in the race for governor and other races that will affect you here in Kern County, like state senate and superintendent of education. The county says 20 ballot drop-off sites are also available through 8 this evening. A felony DUI charge and several others for Michael James Smith III, accused of driving drunk and wrecking his motorcycle on Panorama Drive just before his high school graduation Friday. That's right, he's 18. Formal charges were filed Monday. And 21-year-old Alexander Prentice of Bakersfield is also accused of DUI and leaving the scene of a couple of wrecks police say he caused before ramming his own house Sunday night on Inyo Street. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey man, how's business going these days?
Not that good. I'm really struggling.
Woo! That 93 puts a whole new twist on.
So he's on the second floor, apparently.
Of the Bing?
He walked into the lobby with the bomb.
Really? How can they assist me?
Well, they
Launched up to his chest. He had the wire like this.
So he's not in the bank itself?
The reports from the scanners, what they're hearing is that he's on the second floor.
Wow, that sounds great. How do I get this?
I didn't know there was a second floor in there. Does Chase Bank? Right down the corner? Right across from, right there by the Hall of Records? Yeah, right down the street from KCCD and on election day. Oh, Lord. That's not good. When they asked to see family.
She's 16 now.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, there's a lot going on.
That's not a good sign.
That's what at least they're.
Wants to see a loved one before he goes. That's generally the, yeah. And I'm turning this off for a second.
Radio program.
I know.
The Ralph Bailey Show.
Here we go.
Here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's election day. And the Kern Radio studios, of course, don't forget, are powered by Adaptive Networks, despite the fact that our Adaptive Networks sign is not working. I'm just happy that it has nothing to do with me. I thought for something, for all your IT needs, call the folks at Adaptive Networks at 241-0638 or hit them online at adaptive-net.com. It is a Tuesday, and as those of you who are viewing on YouTube can see, the lovely former Kern County Council to my left, your right, Teresa Goldner joins us. How are you, Judge?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Ralph?
I'm good. Did you change your hair color?
Well, kind of, a little bit, maybe.
Changed it or you didn't? You're asking the guy with the afro?
It gets brassy down a little bit.
Okay, could you define?
I skipped my appointment, so I.
Could you define brassy for us?
Means,
I have never. Have you ever heard that term, Chris?
Never heard the term, but I
brassy.
what she's getting.
It means kind of coppery, sort of light. You know, not really the same color that it
Color
normally
brass.
is. It's a girl thing, Ralph.
Okay, that's that. Why do you think I'm asking?
Have you ever colored your hair? Would you ever color your hair? I know someone who colored it.
I once contemplated dyeing it blonde when I was a little kid, and my father threatened to take me out of this world.
Really?
Yes.
That's not a good thing. Huh?
Yeah, no, that was not going to happen in my house.
I'm going to keep coloring my hair until they put me in the coffin, and then I'm going to ask my husband to make sure they do it afterwards too.
What is wrong with the color that you have? What color do you color it?
I am.
It's just a little darker, obviously.
Yeah, I have a lot of gray hair, Mr. Bailey.
I was unaware of that. It's not showing now.
Thank you.
It doesn't show when it's brassy.
That's because I color my hair.
Okay, all right, I'll leave it alone.
There are no secrets when you're on the Ralph Bailey.
Well, you could just Ralph, I'd really not rather discuss my hair.
It's all right. No, I do. I color my hair.
See, I thought you colored it to this color. I didn't know that it was a lack of color that caused this color. I thought you changed it.
No, I do. I color my hair too so that it won't be gray hair. But what happens is if you don't keep up with it, you know, if you skip your appointments or something, if you have brunette hair and you color your hair, it can get brassy.
But it doesn't go back to gray, though. That's a good thing, apparently.
No,
because I don't see any gray.
Grow it out. Like if I were to shave my head right now, and
God forbid,
and you would see me 2 weeks from now, I would be all gray.
Really?
Yeah.
You look like Mrs. Bush.
Probably. You could just call me Babs.
Barbara, that's why I called her Miss Bush. I forgot her first name.
I have a lot of friends that they color their hair, and some people don't, some people do. But I always feel like, well, the big difference is, of course, it makes you look older, and we don't want to look our age, do we?
I've never understood guys that don't care, like guys that have beards that go white and they keep it. Like, why would you want to have that's the first telltale sign of age is white hair.
I wouldn't want to have a white beard, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know why they would want to sport that. I'm getting my hair cut Thursday, and I get a shave because it makes me look younger.
You get a shave at the barbershop?
I do.
Oh, that must be nice. That must feel good.
No, I don't get like you got this image of Anastasia in a barber chair with the towel and getting a hot drink. No, he takes the barber clippers and just goes, because I've told you, feel that. I don't grow hair on my body. No, look at that. Look at that. Go right ahead. Absolutely no hair. I am the envy of every woman I've ever dated.
Do you have hair on your chest?
None.
Do you have hair on your back?
Barely hair underneath my arms.
No kidding.
Barely hair underneath my arms.
Was your dad like that?
No, this is my mother's side of the family.
So you're
We have Native American, Indian.
That means I have more hair than you.
You do. You do. That's what I'm saying. I'm the envy of every girl I've ever dated.
Well, I'm Italian.
They would be.
Italian girls have a lot of hair on their arms.
Yes, they do. You've heard and French women as well.
Oh, you talk.
And the audience is like, "Oh, don't go into that, Bailey."
I remember this story.
Yes.
Of you and the woman on
the French woman.
Was it on the river?
No, on the Ardèche River.
The river.
The Ardèche River on our way to Lyon.
And you were totally grossed out
because she had an afro. She didn't have armpit hair. She had a full-blown afros underneath her arms. And this was 1979. Apparently, but it ain't a Ralph Bailey thing. Freaked me out.
So you don't like that?
Well, at the time, it bothered me. I don't think it bothered me.
How do you feel about women that have long hair on their legs? Do you care about that?
It doesn't bother me.
Oh, okay. So it's just the armpit hair that grosses you out.
Well, I mean, I was 17 years old, Miss Golder. I was a young virgin junior going in my senior year of high school. I just had never seen it. You're 17 years old, you're growing up, and you grow up around women that shave their legs and their arms and their armpits.
Unless you live in Europe.
Unless you live in Europe. And this was my first encounter in Europe. And she put her arms behind her back, and I was like, oh my God.
You ran away and you left your bottle of wine.
And I ran back and grabbed the wine. That's the best part of the story. I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. Oh, wait. And she's like, oh, you're coming back? I go, no, I just forgot my wine. Damn right.
I can't believe you were so cheap that you went back and got the bottle of wine.
Miss Golder, I was 17 years old.
She must have been so offended. You must have made her feel bad. She probably has a complex about it for the rest of her life.
You think at 63 she's talking about it like I am? I doubt it.
I bet she is.
You think she was traumatized by the young American?
There was this really handsome young man, I thought he was the one. I thought he was my soulmate. And all of a sudden, all I know is he ran away when I put my armpits up. And then he came back.
And the
got his wine.
cheapskate came back and took his wine out of the sand. Yes, I
She
did.
probably did. She probably tell your grandchildren that story.
Well, so you could have been mulatto children, but no.
I remember when my daughter was young, and her friends were starting to shave their legs. I mean, that's young girls, they want to shave their legs as soon as they can.
Really? I thought that was an annoyance.
Well, back then they all wanted to shave their legs. So I used to tell her, when you can braid it, you can shave it. That was my rule.
Okay, let's turn the channel just a little bit. What are we talking about today?
Well, I actually did some legal. Well, actually, I voted. Have you voted?
I have indeed.
Very good.
I have indeed.
I almost lost my ballot somewhere in the big piles of mail in our kitchen, and my husband searched through it and found it for me. So I took it down yesterday.
For whom did you vote? May I ask?
If I could have, I would have voted for Spencer Pratt.
I would have. My mother, my 83-year-old lifelong Democrat, liberal, not woke mother voted for Spencer Pratt.
Did she really?
She cannot stand Karen Bass. She's met Karen Bass on a couple of occasions.
Did she think she's phony?
She was turned off by the Castro stuff. I said, what about? And I said, is it the homeless encampment that's like 3 blocks from your condo? She's like, no. And I said, is it the state of Los Angeles? She's like, no, not really. I said, well, what is it, Mom? She goes, well, did you hear that she was like a big supporter of Castro? And you know who I'm talking about? I'm talking about Fidel, Ralph, not Raul. And I'm like, thank you, Mom.
Was she a member of the Communist Party?
No, she couldn't get elected dog catcher if she was a member of the Communist Party.
I thought Spencer Pratt said she was.
No, Teresa, have you lost? I don't mean to be rude. I was almost really rude to
I thought
you.
he actually said that.
You really think somebody from the Communist Party can get elected to any kind of office now? I mean, I guess Mamdani is as close as we got.
I'm just going to say, in Los Angeles, I do.
Well, you don't know. I know Los Angeles, a communist. Not even in Los Angeles can a communist win.
Well, what I thought was very interesting was I heard I heard him talk about a discussion that he had with her right before the debate. And, he thought she was kind of trying to intimidate him a little bit. And she was talking about how did he have experience, for this kind of job sort of thing, this sort of work. And, his response to people when they ask him about that is, okay, you're asking me about what I did 20 years ago when I was a reality TV person. What was Karen Bass doing 20 years ago?
Sucking up to Fidel Castro.
Right. So, it's like, people who live in glass houses can't really throw stones.
Yeah.
So
and she mourned him when he died. Like the Cuban people will miss Fidel. Have you been to Havana, lady? Have you talked to any real Cubans on the ground? Have you met Marco Rubio? Have you talked to anybody in Miami who's been a refugee from Cuba? That they're going to mourn Fidel? They're going to dance through the streets the day that he died back then. Are you kidding me?
He died quite a while ago.
A couple of years back, yeah.
His brother actually
Raul took over, and now we just indicted him. Yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
We have a little Maduro thing going on there. Maybe in Cuba. I don't know. We'll see.
What else you got?
So what I actually did some research because you and I have been talking about this anti-weaponization fund. This thing, and you were saying, oh, it's ridiculous and they shouldn't get any money and all that stuff.
And the Senate agreed with me, and now they've backed down, which is an amazing story. I'm going to get to that later, but I'm glad you want to talk about it as well. But
My legal conclusion based on the research that I did was it's legal. What he wants to do is legal. It's backed up by the statutes. It's backed up by congressional appropriations. There's nothing illegal about what it is that they want to do.
is it smart?
That's a different story. It's more of a political thing than a legal thing.
If it's so legal, then why does a judge want to hear it on the 12th? And why did the president, Todd Blanche, wave the white flag today? They have assured John Thune, because Republican senators are dead set against this. This
Well,
isn't,
that's because
don't make this sound like this is a
that's-
Ralph Bailey.
that's because
I mean,
it's
can I finish?
political.
Can I finish? This isn't political. What's political about it? This is an idiotic idea. You are a former judge and you are in favor of incentivizing criminality. Do you understand how this thing works, Judge? Do you understand how this thing works?
I do now. I
That
know.
Todd Blanche, the president's former personal attorney, gets to select the 5 members who get to choose who gets money. And they will report quarterly, but when they report, they don't have to tell us who gets the money. They don't have to tell us how they came up with the formula for giving X person the money, nor do they have to announce how much money that person is getting. And you're in favor of this clandestine slush fund to incentivize criminality and to actually give money to people who attacked Capitol police officers?
First of all, it's not just limited to J6 defendants or people that were there at the ellipse that day on January 6th.
Are you being a partisan, or are you truly that naive that you don't believe that this thing began because of the J6 rioters?
It may have begun because of that, but the language of the deal itself is broad enough that it can apply to, you ready for this? I think there can be over 12,000 claimants involved in this. It could span the Mueller investigation, people who were subject to
It could get Comey, it could get Letitia, it could get all those people. And you believe, Teresa, that Todd Blanche, the president's personal attorney, is going to select anybody who's going to give money to Letitia James and James Comey? You really? No, come on, Teresa. Tell me honestly what you think.
Well, let me
You
tell
believe that Trump people are going to give money to liberal Democrats?
Let me tell you who.
No, come on. Just
let
no,
me
come
tell
on.
you-
No, come on. Just answer my question.
Let
Do
me-
you believe that Trump picked members of this board are going to give money to Letitia James or James Comey or any other Democrat that went after Donald Trump?
People that are eligible for the
She won't
funds.
answer
Are
the
you ready
question.
for this?
She's not going to
Are,
answer. She's not going to answer the question.
People who were subjected to lawfare dealing with the Mueller investigation, Jack Smith's investigation, of course, the J6 defendants, FACE Act defendants. Remember what FACE is all about? Remember how Don Lemon was arrested under FACE?
And again, I'll ask
FACE has to
as
do
an
with-
addendum to my question.
Wait,
You think Don Lemon's going to get money from this Trump-picked board?
FACE Act has to do with a federal statute that makes it a crime and makes it illegal to interfere with people who are protesting in front of abortion clinics and people who are exercising their First Amendment right to worship in the religion of their choice. Remember how we had issues like that? People that are subjected to, under the Biden administration, people were actually prosecuted for that. And also, remember the deal with the school board parents who were actually prosecuted for things dealing with objecting to in front of a school board. It can be all kinds of defendants and people with claims who believe that the federal government wrongfully persecuted them or wrongfully prosecuted them. So
now that we've established,
it's a big world of people
that's
that
right.
can put
That's
claims
right.
in there.
That's right. Okay, we've established that.
And I
Okay,
think- and I
we've
think-
established that.
I think that there are real legitimate cases where people were wrongfully prosecuted, and that if they were to have filed a civil rights lawsuit, they probably would get a settlement or they probably would get a jury verdict. But this sort of thing allows them to put in a claim. It's just like any other claim that anybody would put in under a law called the Federal Tort Claims Act. If you think that the government has mistreated you or violated your civil rights, that's important, your civil rights or anything like that, you can file a claim and
Teresa.
under this judgment fund that the Congress has appropriated, and there's no cap.
Teresa, you can't filibuster the whole half hour. At some point, you're going to have to ask the question,
Okay.
answer the question. You honestly believe in your heart. If I sat a Bible right there, you would put your hand on that Bible and say, yes, Ralph, I think there's a very likely strong possibility that the Trump-picked members of this board will give money to liberal Democrats. I believe that in my heart, Ralph Bailey, with my hand on the Bible. You believe that?
I believe.
You would say that.
I believe.
Why can't you just answer my question? You're a very smart lady and you know how to circumvent. Answer my question, yes or no. Could you put your hand on a Bible and say, yes, I believe that liberals will receive money from this slush fund?
I believe that a liberal who puts in a claim that is a valid claim
Is going to get money.
will get money.
Oh my God.
I do.
Oh my God.
If it's a valid, legitimate claim and it's backed up, I don't think they'll be treated any.
You honestly believe that?
I do.
I love you, Terry. I do. You are so. You know who you are. We got a new nickname for her, Chris. You are now forever Bambi. You are Bambi. Because if it were anybody else but you, I would say flat out into that camera, you are lying through your teeth.
No, it's
But
not.
I believe you. I believe you believe that in your heart.
I do.
But that's the silliest thing that's probably ever come out of your Bible.
No, I don't.
That this group is going to give Don Lemon money.
Well, I'm not saying-
Letitia James.
I don't think
James Comey.
I don't think Don Lemon has a legitimate claim.
Does
because
Comey? Should Comey be prosecuted for putting a picture of 86 shells?
I don't think he should have been prosecuted for that. I don't
And
think
so
so.
therefore you believe that this board is going to give him money.
If I were on the committee, I would vote to give
That's
him money.
not the question. The question is this Todd Blanche picked board? Todd Blanche, by the way, President Trump's former
US attorney.
personal attorney.
That's
I
right.
know I've mentioned that once or twice before, but I just want to reiterate that. And yes, now he's the top cop of the United States. You honestly believe that board is going to give that guy money?
Oh, I don't think they'll give him money.
James
But
Comey.
But if I were on the board, I would vote to give him money.
But
for
see,
being
that's the
prosecuted
point.
for something like
This
that.
board is going to, really when it comes down to it, this board is going to do whatever Donald Trump says. Am I wrong about that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. what
See,
they're
that's
gonna
why
do.
you're Bambi. Because
don't
of
know
course,
what they're gonna do.
everybody knows, even the most ardent Trump supporter knows that they're not going to do anything that Trump doesn't want done. And I should also add to this, Trump has the ability to fire any board member at any time. So if there's even an inclination that James Comey is going to get some money, what do you all think the president's going to do? Yeah, write him a check, fellas. Write Comey a check. Go ahead. I'm good with it. Go ahead, write him a check. Have you lost your mind?
I think there are thousands of Americans out there that have been wrongfully prosecuted.
I agree.
That deserve to have compensation. For what
I
happened
agree.
to them, because I think there is such a thing as lawfare, and I think it's an abusive process by prosecutors and by the courts when they go after people for political reasons, and that's what this fund is about. And so, if it is administered fairly, and if they come up with standards for how they're going to evaluate it, and I don't know what their standards are right now. I think that's
We all don't, and
Yeah, I
that's
think
part of the thing. They're not going to tell us.
I think that's part of the.
And you're
problem,
good with
is we don't
that.
know No,
You're
no,
good with
well,
clandestine government.
No. Well, let me tell you how it works right now. Actually, if somebody in the and I
Well, let me
know-
tell you how it works right now. It doesn't.
No, as I can.
No, it doesn't. A
as
judge shut it down. I'm pretty sure about that. And they've got until June 12th. But instead,
Yeah,
with the
pull it right back.
backlash the Republicans gave, they surrendered, Terry. This really is a moot conversation, but
We'll see what
I'm
happens.
enjoying it nevertheless.
We'll see what happens. I don't know that.
Oh
I
my
don't- I
God.
don't know that it's
Do you
gonna
want to
be
make another? Would you like to make yet another losing bet?
I think what's going to happen.
Or don't we have a bet on this?
We don't have a bet on this.
Do we have a bet on this?
I don't
No.
think so.
Would you like to place a wager that this fund never, ever, never, ever, ever, never, ever, 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 ever sees the light of day?
I don't think I want to make that bet.
That's what I figured. You're a smart woman.
Well, I can tell you that, of course, the judge has.
She wouldn't even bet the mush.
The judge has issued a TRO. There's going to be a hearing.
June
on it,
12th.
Right. And on the
But
hearing,
is there going to be a hearing? I thought Todd Blanche assured John Thune today that they're done.
I think there probably will be a hearing. But the issue.
I don't
here-
think so. And I didn't get the
Part of
audio, did
part
I?
of the problem here is this settlement came about because of Trump filing a lawsuit.
Against himself.
So the lawsuit, I know that is kind of goofy. So the lawsuit has been dismissed. The lawsuit has been dismissed. The judge doesn't have any jurisdiction over the lawsuit itself because there's nothing there. And under the statutes, the DOJ has the authority, the Department of Justice has the authority under, there's actually statutes, federal statutes that give them the authority and give them the appropriation to settle claims without court supervision.
So then
and
explain-
without court approval. So they
Explain
can
to
do
the
this.
audience why Todd Blanche went before the House committee today and said, it's done, it's over. Why'd they back off?
I don't know. Probably because the politics got.
You want me to tell you?
Probably got pretty radioactive
You want-
because all the senators are coming up for reelection. and
Saying
they
that
don't
this
wanna-
is stupid.
It's a bad political idea. That's why I think he backed off, because he didn't have the support that the president.
And why is it a bad political idea? Because it leaves a horrendous taste in the mouth of most Americans, maybe not in the Central Valley, but most Americans believe the idea of incentivizing criminality is wrong. Are there people that were wrongfully dealt with, prosecuted? Thank you. Of course there were. I'm a brother. I'm pretty familiar with wrongful prosecution, believe me. But to create a $2 billion slush fund, particularly at this time, going into a midterm, is about as dumb a thing as you could do.
The political optics are awful. I mean, everybody has to
Well,
agree with
that's
that.
isn't that what we're talking about? Politics and
my
doing
perspective-
smart and dumb and winning and
looking at it-
losing.
I'm looking at it from a legal perspective. I don't think that anything that they have proposed violates any law. And I think that there's actually 4 lawsuits that have been filed so far.
Oh, more
I'm
than
trying to
that.
stop this.
More than that.
There's more than 4 plaintiffs, but I think at least 4 have been
Yeah.
filed. I think all those lawsuits are going to fail. I don't think they have any merit.
Well, as I've talked about, I have 3 genius law people I turn to. You, my high school buddy who works for the U.S. Attorney's Office, and another high school buddy who's in private practice, one of the leading attorneys in L.A. And I think I told you the last time we spoke that they both agreed that the police officers had no standing and that theirs were going to get thrown out. Well, my buddy with the U.S. Attorney's Office has gotten back to me since, and he said, I'll tell you what, Ralph, if you want to talk about this, there is one person that has standing, in my opinion, as I see it. And I said, who is it? He said, it's the prosecutor.
Oh, see,
Because he believes that basically the government is telling him, you wrongfully prosecuted these people. So my buddy believes that because he has standing, because he has actual skin in the game, because he's been told you did wrong. And he's saying, no, I didn't. So he has standing, and my buddy believes his suit, he believes his suit will go forward.
I don't even think he does, but here's who the plaintiffs are. I mean, after I dug into this, because I got so intrigued after our last discussion.
After I whooped you last week, you mean?
After you insulted me.
How did I insult you? Oh, it all comes out now. How did I insult you? No, come on, seriously.
You didn't insult me. I'm just being
Oh.
So one of them, of course, is the former J6 prosecutor, the one that you're talking about.
Yep.
He's a former assistant attorney general. There's a California professor who's a plaintiff. There's the.
How does he have standing?
He doesn't.
Yeah, that's
There's
crazy.
the city of New Haven, Connecticut, that is a plaintiff. How do they have standing? Go
No,
figure.
no.
There's an abortion rights group.
Oh my God,
And
no,
there's Common Cause. They're another group.
no.
And then there's another group called CREW. It's called Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, D.C.
No,
And
no
that's
skin in the
That's
game.
another, civil watchdog.
No skin in the game.
So
You're
I
out.
think all those people are, all of those plaintiffs, I don't think any of them have standing, meaning they don't have there's no case in controversy for them, and there's really no standing. They don't have, like you said, skin in the game, I think. So I think it's going to fail. I think their lawsuit is going to fail really for procedural reasons, separate and apart from whether or not it's a bad political idea. But there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. And they're actually operating it the way the Federal Tort Claims Act requires things to be dealt with, which is people can file a claim. The U.S. Attorney's Office has the authority to settle claims without going to Congress, without getting Congress's approval to get the settlement.
Let me interrupt you because I don't want to get into this with Howard.
Sure.
Let me explain why it's not going forward. And you're right, it's political because the Republicans realize that if we start doling out money to these criminals, we're cooked. We're going into a very important midterm. We're going through a very important presidential election. And if we start doling out this money, the Democrats will hold this over our heads forever, forever, forever. And that's why Republicans in the Senate are holding hostage the one piece of leverage they have with the president for the first time, perhaps, in either one of his terms. And that's the ICE and the Border Patrol bill that they're not going to pass if these guys go ahead with this fund. The president wants that ICE money, so he's been willing for the very first time to back off. And Todd Blanche, this morning, just a couple of hours ago, when I was sitting at the House about 11:30, went before the House committee and assured the committee. He told John Thune this privately, but then he went on television, on national television, in front of the House committee and said, it's done, it's over. We're going to follow the judge's orders. We're not going to follow up on it. So I don't think there's going to be absolutely. I'm glad to hear you say that.
Just for your audience's information, this thing called the Judgment Fund, where all this money was coming from, it's actually a permanent appropriation that's been around since 1956. And it's found at 31 United States Code Section 1304. And that's where all the settlements against the United States come from.
Let me be blunt. If I believed in my heart, as you do, Bambi, that the 5 board members that Todd Blanche appointed could do this fairly, this would be a wonderful idea. But the idea that this would go to anybody outside of Trump's cronies is crazy. I probably get the last word on that. Sorry. Love you to death, Bambi. Teresa Golder, everybody.
I love you too, Ralph.
That was good. That was good. Anything new on this? Anything new? Yeah, they had the pine. No, of course I didn't. I can't say that, but of course he's lying. If once they pass the ICE bill, they're going to try it again. Yeah, and then it'll go before a judge, and then it'll go before the Supreme Court, and I think the Supreme Court will slap him down. I just don't think you don't see this as incentivizing criminality. These guys have been boasting. It doesn't bother you that the guy that's in jail for molesting kids used as part of his. Well, he's going to, though, Terry. He's going to. But if it's one J6 defendant, it's a mistake.
That's according to two semi-official Iranian news agencies. President Trump is disputing that claim as these talks are continuing. The Trump administration is advancing what it calls new election integrity measures ahead of the next election cycle. Willie Nelson reports from the White House.
President Trump is pushing new election integrity measures through the U.S. Postal Service, requiring states to submit voter lists tied to unique ballot barcodes for mail-in voting. The proposal is designed to strengthen ballot verification and track mail ballots throughout the voting process. The rule is now moving through the federal.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Democrats and activist groups are already threatening.
Anything new?
Willie Nelson, the White House.
The Trump administration is scrapping plans to create a $1.8 billion.
He is on the second floor
to compensate
of the building.
He's got them all upstairs with him.
Yeah, and he walked into the bank and didn't realize that his beef is with Kirk County Superintendent of Schools. It's not bank robbery. They're running like some paperwork from his court cases and stuff to him. He said he'll let one person go when he gets that paperwork. And he wants to see his daughter. He'll let another person go at that point. He's got a bomb. There's 8 hostages.
Excuse me. God, excuse me.
On the scene, but they're waiting for the FBI negotiators to show up.
Why don't you come on real quick before Howard? Seriously. Seriously.
That's apparently they're supposed to be letting somebody out right now.
Holy Toledo. Let me go get my walk in. Thank you, Bambi. That's her new nickname. Bambi. Miss Naive. She thinks that the Trump board, if this thing goes forward, that they'll dole out the money equally. Like Don Lemon will have a chance, Letitia James, James Comey. And I'm like, have you lost your mind?
Everybody, both sides, everybody gets money.
Exactly. And I'm like, anybody else said that, I would have called him a liar. But I think she really believes that. Yeah. I did know that. Again, if I thought they could do this fairly, this would be a brilliant idea. There's no way anybody, and Trump has the power to fire anybody at any time, and they don't have to tell us who gets the money, how the process is done, how much money they got. Come on.
Police say Jagels was stopped on Stockdale Highway about 4:30 and was booked into jail by 7 p.m. with a $10,000 bail and the court date.
Yeah.
Police are not offering much more.
Okay, I gotta run.
If you haven't voted yet, you
really?
The polls for primary election day are open through 8 this evening.
Wow.
The ballot drop-offs are
We might talk about this again next week. Okay, we'll see ya.
The governor's race is not the only one on the ballot. State Senate, county supervisor for a couple of districts, and even superintendent of education are on there.
Left my phone.
As far as turnout goes,
And how much time I got?
so far include the early voting returns.
2 minutes?
Bakersfield now is
I can do it.
It is a little behind early voting from 2022.
We're gonna do JR for like a couple minutes.
18% of the ballots have been brought back, and as of this morning, the 2026 numbers were about 17%. That may seem like a small difference, but in California, that does mean tens of thousands of votes. Some tough times in Arvin may have some tough solutions. Right now, the city council is having to deal with the city having a $1.5 million budget shortfall, which means that the city may not be able to offer all of the service that it's been able to over the last 5 years. The city council may be looking at leaving some open positions unfilled and may also consider asking you for more money if you live there with a potential sales tax increase. No real increase, though, yet in the price of gas in California, which is now $5.99 per gallon, according to Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Going to the restaurant in a month from now. This Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer again with you.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people.
That's a whole different deal with this 93, Jack.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN.
That's a whole different ballgame at 93 degrees. Ooh, what is this?
Listen live at KERNradio.com.
Sweet. Can we get that in a shot?
You've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio. Here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast. And for those that are watching on YouTube, and if you're not, you're going to want to, because over my right shoulder, as those of you who are watching, we've got a live shot of what's going on downtown. And our program director, Mr. Flores, is about to join us for a second. Hang on there, Howard. We're about to get to Mr. Marcus as he makes his debut on his new day. I'm a little out of breath because I had about a minute and a half to get around the corner. But Howard normally appears on Wednesdays. We've moved him now to Tuesdays. In the meantime, as we talked about at the top of the show, there is an active bomb threat and hostage thing going on at the Chase Bank downtown, and Mr. Flores has the latest. What do you got?
Yeah, apparently the guy walked in originally to the Chase Bank and then realized that they share the office with the Kern County Superintendent's office. That's
upstairs.
That's apparently who his beef is with. It was never intended to be
a bank robbery
Chase or a bank robbery. He has been, and this is what the scanners are saying, he's been locked up for some time. Apparently his children were taken from him before that happened in custody issues, and that's why his beef apparently is with the Kern County Superintendent's Schools office. He is situated on the.
Then why isn't he down there by Eureka's, where the Superintendent of Schools office is? Why is he? What's above the Chase Bank building? They have another office in there?
Yeah, they do. Inside of the Chase building, if you walk in from, what is that? Either Chester or the parking garage.
Which I have.
You come into that hallway lobby, not necessarily in the bank. And to the right is the bank, and to the other side is the Kern County.
I've never paid attention to that. You're absolutely right. So there is a glass office to the left.
And that's the Kern County Superintendent of Schools.
I have never paid attention to that.
He walked into the bank and then realized he was supposed to be on the second floor. Is now on the second floor. It's reported that he has 8 hostages on hand. He is requesting paperwork from one of his cases, apparently, and says when he receives that paperwork, he will release one of the hostages. There was stuff coming over the scanner that he was getting ready to send one down. Apparently, she was a customer at the time and has asthma and doesn't have her inhaler, so they're thinking about letting that person go.
Do we know?
I have no clue. They're saying some names, but none that I've recognized or at this time want to put out, at least on the air. It seems a lot of females.
Yeah, it's nothing but, I told you, it's nothing but females.
Yeah.
I think there's one, like I said, they have 3 or 4 people that deal with new accounts. I think there's one man among the 4, but all the tellers and the manager are females.
Yeah. And it's also believed he's got a bomb strapped to his chest, possibly a weapon, a gun, and then
I didn't know he had a gun too.
Potentially a tripwire on one of the hostages as well.
Oh my
is what
God.
they were saying. Again, he was getting ready to release somebody. It's also believed that he is an ex-Marine at some point in his life as well.
And you said something about him wanting to see his kids?
Yeah, and there was also reports of him requesting to see his daughter, who apparently he hadn't seen since she was 6 and is now 16. So I'm guessing that has to do
with the custody case, with them being taken from him ending up in jail.
Yeah.
We'll learn more, obviously, as it progresses.
All right.
And also, FBI is on the scene. FBI negotiator is coming from LA currently as well to help handle the hostage negotiations.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That's not funny. It's a great movie, The Negotiator. Have you ever seen it? It's a great film.
I have,
It's a great film. Kevin Spacey, but no time for jokes. I apologize. Nice job, Pop. Appreciate that. That's our program director and host, J.R. Flores. Perfect timing to bring in a former federal agent. We don't need music. Howard, what do you think of all this? Yeah, dog day afternoon. Yeah. That's correct.
It's unfortunate. I was thinking this, congratulations. Bakersfield is now a big city with all the hills that we have. When I moved here, the population was about, I think it was 118,000. We're now over 400.
Ninth largest city in the state. 47th largest city in the nation.
Yeah, and with all the ills, there was no advantage of that. The greed for development, the greed for a tax base has ruined Bakersfield. It's endless development. Now we have, and we weren't set up for that. It was a small town, traffic jams everywhere. The sewage system's failing. Think of all the negatives. And was there a quality of life increase? No.
That was my lead.
Unless you want 15 zillion Walmarts and a Starbucks every 10 feet.
That was my lead today, an election day, and the need for change. I think you can say that about the state. I think you can say that about Los Angeles. My lead question of the day was, is there anybody who believes that life in 2026 is better than it was in 06?
Yeah, I heard that.
And the answer is absolutely no. And so that's why we're on the precipice of change. Is it going to happen tonight? Maybe, maybe not. But at least we're getting closer and closer. Because do you believe, Howard, under Karen Bass or Tom Steyer or Javier Becerra, that life in California and Los Angeles is going to get better in the next 4 years?
I actually think it works.
Of course it is.
They are even farther out. Put it this way. I think Newsom is actually a sociopath. I think he says whatever it takes. He's shown that.
Yes.
I think these guys are hard left with an agenda far beyond what Newsom has even done. Newsom just sort of goes along to get along as long as he can have his hair gel and, his hand waving. But the reality is these guys have an agenda that far exceeds anything Newsom's done. As bad as he's ruined the state, Steyer will loot the Treasury far beyond what it is with his idiot health plans and everything else he's proposed, which is dramatic. He'll further drive business out of the state. We've already lost an estimated $1 trillion in capital as far as businesses. I just read the numbers. Something like 163 headquarters in California have left. 163 companies have relocated out of state, and that's just the start. That the idea of these billionaire taxes and everything else we've had, and what's happening is states like Tennessee, Florida, all these other states are gaining at our expense. Our tax base is eroding. We're taking high earners and replacing them with low earners. And what ends up happening is you and I will end up eventually having to pay more because they don't care how much you and I pay in taxes. As long as their agenda gets through.
We lost arguably the most iconic hamburger joint in the nation to Tennessee. That young lady took In-N-Out and said, screw, I'm from California. My parents were California. My grandparents were California. Screw California. I'm going to Tennessee. Unbelievable.
I did the math once. You cannot pay fast food workers, which is unskilled. Semi-skilled, I'm going to be generous. It's an unskilled labor. It's supposed to be a starting job for kids. It was when I was growing up, or a part-time job for seniors. And you can't make that a $36,000 a year job.
Yeah.
That's what $20 an hour comes out to. You cannot pay them the same as a starting pay for a teacher with all the requirements of a teacher. And what that ends up doing is drives all the other wages up. I was talking to a friend who was an automotive company, and that minimum wage is the base set. A mechanic that shows up has to be paid double minimum wage to start, whether his skill level is there or not. So you're saying, and what it ends up doing is drives up all the costs across the board, which means companies can't afford to hire people. Businesses fail.
Carl's Jr.
Thousands of businesses, like small restaurants.
Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
Going out of business.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd see that.
Yeah, and I like Carl's Jr. The problem is they cannot afford, and you go into McDonald's, which I do pretty regularly for breakfast in the Bakersfield, and they go to a kiosk that doesn't work, which just happened to myself and Mary last week. Go go into McDonald's. There's no one on the counter. There's a kiosk, which half the screens are black because they don't work. The one that does supposedly work doesn't work. So you walk up to the counter and you're banging on the counter trying to get somebody to pay attention to you, which, by the way, they don't because it's not their job now. And you finally have to walk around behind the counter and yell, "Hey, can I put an order in? Your kiosk's broken." And they come out and go, "Yes, it broke for 2 days." Well, how do you sell food? And
Wow.
it has to do that because otherwise their business entirely closes.
What McDonald's do you go to, Howard?
Huh?
What McDonald's do you go to?
That was actually the one on Buck Owen, not Merle Haggard, big one.
Wow. Because I go to the one on H. I was at the one on H this morning. I had 2 sausage burritos this morning.
Yeah, it depends on which one, but
Yeah.
that's a very.
But no, I see what
Really busy one.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's crazy. That is crazy.
No matter which one it is, the fact that it happens at any McDonald's, which is supposed to be a professional, huge corporation, the fact that they knew about it for 2 days and hadn't fixed it.
Yeah. So what's going to happen probably tomorrow? Their experts are saying because of the mail-in ballots, we may not know anything of these 2 tight races till maybe tomorrow or Thursday. It's between Steyer and Hilton and Becerra. And it just, like I said at the top of the show, depends on what poll you're looking at. What do you think of my theory that Chad Bianco could have made himself a hero to the party if he had thrown himself?
Entirely. I think Chad Bianco is the Ross Perot. I think he
Yeah.
for Hilton. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be Becerra and Steyer. And I hate saying that. I think it's unfortunate. I think the Californians, I never underestimate the capability of Californians to do the stupidest thing possible, to vote for more of the same and to fail the system. I think there are people that vote straight party line. They don't care. They don't think it affects them. They're just going to pull the lever for the wrong guy again, as they've done for 20 years now. I think it's going to be Steyer and Becerra, and I hope I'm wrong. I really do. And I think Bianco is going to go down as a failure for his party, as a failure for the state. I hope he never runs again. Because when it was obvious he wasn't going to win, they argued. I've seen numbers online. Oh, the polls lie and this and that. It's like, no. The reality is when Trump endorses one person, whether you like Trump or not, that's a pretty strong endorsement.
Yeah.
And when you know that your numbers are half of your Republican rival, you can't argue with that.
Yeah, Hilton's beating him 2-1.
Yeah, and it's like do the best for the party if you're really sincere. And I had decided early on when I watched the entire video of the things that Bianco had said he did and didn't do, I knew then I wasn't going to vote for him because he's not the conservative he says he is. He did bend the knee to Black Lives Matter, whether that's an issue or not, and then lied about it. He did believe there's a pathway to amnesty, all things he denied later. So in other words, he's a politician after all.
Yeah, and he was a member, of the Oath Keepers. And I'll be honest with you, and I know my audience isn't going to believe this. I'm more concerned about his answer during the debate to being an Oath Keeper than him actually being a part of the Oath Keepers, because his answer was yes. I've taken my oath. I've taken my oath several times. I am an Oath Keeper, and it's like, no, don't try to throw in that subtlety about taking an oath. This is an organization that we're talking about, and you damn well know it. And he tried to play cute, and I was like, no, he just lost me. He really just lost me because I thought he was more of a Donnie Youngblood. Mike, who's our guy up in Tulare? Mike Boudreaux, that kind of guy. And he's, but he's not. He's not like Donnie, because Donnie is this. Yeah, I think Donnie would have had a better chance, to be honest with you.
I don't have any problems with Donnie right now. I wish he would run. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He makes a mistake. He admits it. He's very straight.
Owns it. Yep.
Holds his position. And the reality of it is that you and I have to live with the results. We're here. And what's going to end up happening is you're just going to have yet another decline in quality of life. More and more people are leaving. Personal friends I've known for years are all leaving the state.
Yep.
Everybody I know who's retiring who can is leaving the state. Everybody with middle income or better who's smart is leaving the state. I wish I had left the state when I had the opportunity. Timing was not right and is not right. And at my age is kind of, but I'll make a long story short. I think that's going to be, you're going to see that the flight of this state going to get worse. People with income and initiative and entrepreneurs are not going to stay.
The only thing keeping me in California, my job, but most importantly, my mother.
Mom, I know.
And if my mother were to pass away next week or next year or 2 years from now, and now I'm 64, 65, and can make some decent money off Social Security and take my 401k and my messmaker and Peachy Wealth Advisors money, I might die an old man in Beaufort, South Carolina. I really might.
House waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, here's the reality of it. I sat down and tried to think some numbers today. When I do, I get depressed. I'm paying thousands more just for sitting where I'm sitting between the fire insurance, the property taxes. I have a mortgage payment. I just don't have a mortgage. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
Same thing as if somebody buying a house 20 years ago, and I'm not receiving any real benefit from it. I just things I have to pay. And I'm not. You look at people that are young. How do you afford a house if you're coming out of high school and college with a degree, or you want to have a skill, and you're looking at the average price of a house? Bakersfield. We're not talking about Beverly Hills. We're talking about Bakersfield. The average price of a house is $400,000.
Yeah.
And rising.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I play.
It's not doable for anybody who's starting out in life. But if they go outside the state, they can cut that in half.
I play Sundale Country Club every Sunday morning at 7:00 with Mark Swaim, who is looking at homes, and he often will point out homes on the golf course. And these are tiny little homes in Kern City. You know what I'm saying? You got to be 55 and older, and they're just they're nice little homes, but
just normal, regular, middle class homes.
$250,000, $300,000.
Yeah,
Insane.
And a waiting list, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. And we're not talking exactly. We're not talking about the Northeast by Bakersfield Country Club. We're not talking about Westchester near where I live. We're not talking about Seven Oaks. We're talking about Kern City. And we're talking about $250,000 bottom line.
Bakersfield, not LA.
Yeah.
My dad's house in LA, last I checked, was a middle class house, a lower middle class neighborhood. It was blue collar. Neighbor was a barber. One neighbor was a gardener. Immediate neighbor's a gardener in Mar Vista, which is a suburb of Venice, which was not a garden spot.
Right.
Middle class. So he bought the house, I believe it was 49 or 60,000 in like mid 60s. Last I looked it up, it was $2.4 million.
I accidentally, well, not accidentally, but inadvertently gave out the address of our home in Palos Verdes that my parents paid in I was in junior year. So we're talking about 79. They moved to Palos Verdes. And it was 1600 via Barcelona. And somebody in the audience wrote it down apparently and looked it up. My parents paid $225,000 for that house. Do you remember the number that the caller gave us? I think he said it was worth $3.2 million today. That very same house, right on the corner of via Barcelona and Upper Palos Verdes.
Yeah, you priced worth America out of
crazy. Yeah.
And you priced them out of California. You got to leave the state if you plan to own property.
And that.
People are leaving. It's not a secret. And these idiotic votes. I understand that there is I hope Pratt wins. I really do. I hope there's enough disaffection because look, with the horrendous issues that Karen Bass has caused, she caused the fires. I'm sorry. When you get a month's warning from your fire chief.
Yep.
And you ignore it and you go to Ghana.
Yep.
If you caused this fire, you caused it to be worse. The Palos Verdes fire, they knew about it smoldering and didn't do anything about it.
Yep.
When you cause these issues, and you have the homeless crisis, we have the highest population of homeless, we have the highest poverty rate, the highest tax rate, and you ignore all that, you deserve not to be elected. And if we elect her again, we pay the price, and be honest, we deserve it.
Yeah.
Ellen Angelinos have to live with the results. And if they vote for her or the other councilwoman, then they deserve what they get.
Think about the fact that she's about to enter into a runoff with 30% of the vote. 30% of the vote, meaning 70% of that city does not want her to be the damn mayor. That's amazing. Like I said, the theme of this election, it doesn't really, I wouldn't want to be an incumbent this week. I really wouldn't. I'd want to be the challenger.
Well, I hope that you and our hopes come out. I'm just so dismayed after people like Newsom being reelected and surviving recalls and Bass being elected to begin with. And I'm just so astonished at the ability of Californians to vote things like their own gas tax increases, their own
high-speed rail, Gavin Newsom, Adam Schiff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the decisions we make as a state is mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is. It's a shame, but we'll see. We can hope for the best and honestly expect the worst.
Yeah, well said. Well said. How was Mary's birthday?
Pretty good. She actually had some friends over that she's in a craft club thing. They had them over here, and I basically hid upstairs, so I didn't.
I understand. All right, so have a great weekend or a great week.
Hey, the golf's gonna be out there for you.
The what?
Nice and hot for golf.
Oh, I know. It's going to be a long, hot summer, but I play early. Yeah, I'm off the course by 11. Damn Skippy. All right, Howard. Always good to talk to you, Pop. Appreciate you. Take care. Howard Marcus. Quick timeout. We'll check the board for the first time today. Bottom of the hour, we'll get into Graham Plattner, the Nazi Maine candidate for the Democratic Party for the United States Senate, trying to oust Republican Susan Collins. They are supporting her. Even Chuck Schumer, a Jew, supporting a man who put a swastika on his chest. Democrats will do anything to gain control of the Senate. I've got some audio that we're going to play. Jill Biden is a pathological liar. Last week, I just said she's a liar. But now that this book tour is cooked up, she was on Today's Show yesterday with Craig Melvin. I'll play that for you. She was on The View today. I have no audio from that because my fellow DirecTV subscribers will tell you why I don't. ABC is kaputs on DirecTV. You know, we go through these battles with the different stations and the cable companies. Well, I don't watch a lot of network television, so it's 9:59, and I'm all excited to see the ladies of The View throw softballs at Jill Biden. And there's a big black thing on my screen that says, due to contractual reasons, we can't show anything on it. But I do have some audio from Jill Biden, nevertheless. We'll talk about the lies that she has told in terms of Kamala Harris, in terms of her husband, in terms of she thought he was dying on stage. That's all coming up. Plus, coming up at 5 o'clock, keep it locked. Cassie Bittle with a major political announcement. You'll want to be here at 5:05 on the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1230, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERA.
Are you looking
What
for
is
a
it?
hospital that truly
No, right.
cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
Every Thursday at 4:30, Daniel Petrie lightens up the broadcast with his incredible wit, pure intelligence, political knowledge, and obviously an absolute master of economics. That's why he's such an important cog on this broadcast. And you can hear him even on some of his off days when there are financial movements that we can't explain. We lean on my man from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
Have you tried Bowden's plums?
They're all about retirement.
Woo!
I've turned
They're really good. Straight off for treat.
Wealth Advisors, and they could not be.
Yeah.
You could be happy as well with your situation in terms of the fourth quarter in your life. If you call 395-9400, 395-9400.
I'm going to spit it out.
The offices of Messmaker.
Because if you take a bite, it goes everywhere. I just throw them out.
Does not constitute investment advice or solicitation for advisory services.
Where?
Petrie or NPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program hosts a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertising, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
Hey man, how's business going?
Where are the paper towels?
Oh, not that good. I'm really struggling to find qualified employees for my business.
You have any in there?
Have you tried reaching out to Employers Training Resource? They understand that having the right staff can significantly impact your company.
Really? How can they assist me?
Well, they promoted my jobs, held a recruitment, and pre-screened my job applicants, and they even set up the interviews, all at no cost. And they even offer financial hiring incentives like on-the-job training.
Wow, that sounds great. How do I get this?
Simple. All you have to do is call Employers Training Resource at 661-325-HIRE. That's 661-325-4473. Or visit their website at employerstrainingresource.com.
This Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Equal Opportunity Employer Program is funded by the U.S. Department of Labor's Employment and Training Administration. For full federal funding disclosure details,
Anything. In the chat room?
Yeah.
I gotta start reading. Hey, do you have access to the chat room?
Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of
They've been saying they couldn't hear Howard, they couldn't hear Teresa.
24/7 in-house monitoring and local service. Our promise to the Central Valley remains the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERA.
Well, I don't know what the problem is with the audio. I mean, this is up where it should be. You guys, I don't pay attention to the chat room. I'm sorry. I know I should, but it's at my back and it's just not in my think process. So if there's an issue, you got to text the show and tell Chris, or call 842-5376 and call the show and tell Chris. You can complain all you want in here, but you all watch me do the show. I check that thing maybe 2 or 3 times in a 3-hour broadcast. So if there's an issue, please, 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 let us know.
Turn radio.
842-5376.
We were trying to figure this out. And
Yeah, and it's time to get out of here. So let's go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, other side of the half hour, we'll get into the Graham Plattner story out of Maine. We'll get into Jill Biden, who's on her book tour. She's a pathological liar, and I'll break down the lies that she's told. And then Cassie Bittle at the top of the hour with a major, major political announcement. You're going to want to be here at 5:05. It's TRBS, News Talk 96.1, AM 1230. We stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. The former district
Huh?
attorney for Kern County was arrested Monday.
Yes.
I don't see the text messages all the time because I'm doing others.
Or just text me.
Highway about.
No, it's fine. And we had him way up. We had it way up so we could hear him, but then you were talking, we're like, whoa.
Well, yours is his problem is that his mic's on a completely different volume because it's on him.
Yeah.
And then you're getting double.
Do I even need a mic?
Technically, you don't.
Well, you were clear as a bell, crystal clear and perfect. But when we were trying to hear JR,
You couldn't hear any of JR?
lower, we had to turn it up.
Is it not connected?
It goes dead.
It's not moving.
It goes dead.
It moves here. Is that me or is that the?
No, I think it's this. Why is it doing?
Why do we have that like that in here? Oh, I didn't even know that's how we do that. We stick the mic in the headset.
I can't hear anything out of these. I can't hear a damn thing out of these. There it is.
Oh, it's the wire. So we need another headset? You want to use these? Let's use these. Trade them out. There it is.
That's what it is.
We fixed it.
This here's Mia the mosquito.
The only thing you all have to hear is Cassie.
Ready to chew up.
The only thing y'all have to hear is Cassie Bittle at 5:05. So cool your jets.
Right, Kern County. Dump all standing water and remember to apply insect repellent.
Thank you,
if
Lisa.
do have a mosquito problem,
No,
visit
Bob,
kernmosquito.com.
are you kidding?
It's a free service.
Oh, don't. And we can all hang out together like we did last year, leaving your windows and doors open.
Visit kernmosquito.com. Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
All right, so we fixed our problem. Have we not?
I believe so.
Can you all hear me? Or I guess the
can
problem
always hear
wasn't me. I guess the problem
See,
was.
that's the weird thing because I was listening in on Howard just in case to make sure Howard sounded good, and
Right.
I can hear him fine on the stream.
So how could they not hear him?
That's again, I think it's more of just a volume issue on our end, but
Well, we
hopefully that
apologize.
fixed it.
Yeah, we apologize. Let's check the board real quick before I get into Graham Plattner and lying Jill. What do you got? By the way,
Let's
these
see. We have
plums-
somebody here that gave us a little bit of an update on what's going on downtown.
Yeah, what do you got?
So just heard from Bravo Street Media that there are 6 black helicopters coming to Bakersfield from Los Angeles. He just showed the copters coming, and the hostage taker just released one.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. This is going to be a big story. This is going to be a statewide story. This might be a national story. Well,
It's already reached national media.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be a big story. And, you know, I'm a journalist, so I'm going to be blunt with you. How it ends is going to determine how big a story it is. And I think, hopefully, you can read between lines as to what I just said. Kathy Abernathy apparently does not know I have a radio show.
Or she's letting us know she can hear us now. Somebody in the chat or in the text messages just said that.
Kathy is trying to tell me what's going to happen on my own show, and I disagree. There's going to be a major announcement coming up in a half an hour by Cassie Bittle. I don't think I should have mentioned who texted me, but I don't think you get to determine that, Kathy. I really don't. And I think there's going to be an announcement in a half an hour. And she explained the conversation you two had, but I explained to her, it's up to her. It's not up to you, Kathy. It's up to her. So if she wants to come and make an announcement at 5:05, that's exactly what she's going to do. And she gave me her word. That's what she's going to do. And that's what I'm telling my people. In the meantime, what do you got on the board?
Let's see. Ralph, have you been to Petco Park down in San Diego? I may go to a Dodger game there soon and was wondering if it was worth it. I have.
I have not. I've been to the old Jack Murphy Stadium. I'm an old man, but I've never been to Petco.
Petco's nice.
Petco?
I liked it.
Yeah.
As a Phillies fan, I went for a Phillies Padres game a couple years ago, and it's pretty interesting. And they have like a little literal park like in the outfield. It's pretty cool.
And I'm the wrong person to ask, as Mr. Burdick and Mr. Flores will tell you, because I'm one of the few human beings on the planet not a fan of San Diego. And I can't even explain it.
You're just an
Because
LA
you'd say,
guy.
yeah, and maybe that I think you would say, oh, brother, you're not a beach guy. That's not, I love Newport Beach. I love Lake Tahoe. I love Savannah, which is a kind of a beach community, kind of, sort of, not really. Beaufort, South Carolina's on the coast. I love the coast. I love the water. I lived in Palos Verdes, where you could see Catalina in the morning, and you could see the ocean every single day out of my bedroom window and out of the balcony of our second-story house. But for some reason, I've never been a fan of San Diego. I don't know why. And we used to go down there all the time. The only thing I remember that I loved about was SeaWorld and the safari. It's about the only thing about San Diego that I remember that I liked. And I thought Jack Murphy Stadium was a dump, which it was, why they got rid of it. Did they raise that, or just they built on top? Well, they must have raised it. What else you got?
Ralph, ABC is 100% free with antenna.
Oh, thank you. Well, I couldn't. It was 9:59 when I finally turned to it and found out, so I was going to get an antenna by 10:05. And you know what? It's probably best that I didn't see the softball ridiculous questions that they asked this woman. She is just an absolute liar. Now she's not only lying about, I thought my husband was dying on the stage. Literally, I thought he was having a stroke. She repeated that lie on The View. I saw it in some excerpts. But now she's lying about her relationship with Kamala Harris. Because everybody that has an IQ over 50 knows she can't stand Kamala Harris, and I don't blame her. Let's get in the Bailey Wayback Machine for just a second, shall we? And let's go back to the 2020 election and Kamala Harris's failed attempt to even compete in the primaries. Remember, she tried to steal a page out of the Barack Obama playbook and put all her money and all her time and all her effort into Iowa. And I told you the story when Barack won, or in the process of winning. The phone call that I got from my mother in 2007 when he won in Iowa. And she said, brr, brr. Hi, Mom. Hi, baby. It's your mother. Mom, Hi, Mom. Baby, do you know about this young black fella from Hawaii? Black from Hawaii. Oh, Barack. Oh, yeah, of course, Mom, of course. You know he won in Iowa. Mom, do you know what I do for a living? I said that in my head. I didn't say that to my dear sainted widowed mother. What's the matter with you? I said, yes, I'm aware he won in Iowa. Well, baby, there are only about 9 black people in Iowa. Mom, I think there are more than 9 black people in Iowa, but I get what you're saying. Baby, he could win. You know I love me some Hillary, but I might have to vote for Baruch. And so, anyway, now Kamala tries to do the same thing, where she tried to load up on Iowa, shock my mother, and prove to liberal Democrats like Mary Harriet Bailey she could win. And she didn't. She failed so badly, she didn't even end up competing in the Iowa caucuses. She put all her team, all her money, all her time. The polls came out. She was polling at like 6%. And she said, we're not going to throw good money after bad, or bad money after good, whatever the cliche is. But before the Iowa caucuses, there was the infamous debate where Kamala Harris created this entire scenario, right, with the zinger punchline that she didn't come up with, that somebody told her to do this, where she said, you know, Joe, you were against busing. And I know a story of a young black girl who was bused in Northern California. And she had trials and tribulations with this young girl. She went through the snow on the bus with these kids that she wasn't aware of because of busing. And she was chided and blah, 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 blah. Oh, woe is her. And do you know who that child was, Joe? That child was Pearl Bailey. No, I'm kidding. That child was Kamala Harris. That was me. And that was her brief shining moment where basically she accused Joe Biden of conspiring with Robert Byrd, the former senator from West Virginia, who was a known, let me just out loud KKK member. Me, Robert Byrd. Yes, I'm fine. Wait, let me take my hood off. Yep, that's me. And so she tried to imply that he was a bigot because he was against busing and he was sided with Robert Byrd. And they have hated her ever since. And she went on The View today and said, I was shocked when she lost. Shocked. That's a lie. Because nobody thought Kamala was going to win the night before the election. Nobody, not even Kamala thought she was going to win the night before the election. A, that's a lie. B, she didn't want Kamala to win. Neither did Joe. And did I pull any audio from that? I didn't, did I? Just the Craig Melvin stuff. We'll get to that in a second. But she is basically trying to portray this as, well, let's play the discussion she had with Craig Melvin on the Today Show. Now, remember, this follows the Sunday News woman that she interviewed with that I chastised for not following up. Listen to a real journalist in Craig Melvin.
If you could go back in a time machine and do it all over again, would you have encouraged him maybe to not run again?
You know, as I look back, would I want to put Joe through the hurt and the pain that we felt during that time? Never. Never. I mean, it was so hurtful. And
so it sounds like you're saying if you could do it all over again, you probably would have encouraged him to be a one-term president.
But it had to be his decision, Craig. It had to be his decision alone because he had to live with that decision the rest of his life. I couldn't say, Joe, do this or Joe, do that. It was his decision to run in the first place, only his, even though the family had their input, especially the grandchildren.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was his decision to get out.
Is that not a lie? It was his decision to get out. With Barack Obama's handprint, Nancy Pelosi's right handprint, I believe George Clooney's handprint was in there somewhere. I'm pretty sure Chuck Schumer's handprints, his fingerprints, his DNA would be on the back of Joe Biden. But yet she's going around the country and trying to sell the lie that this was a betrayal of the Democratic Party and that it was Joe's decision. This woman these people are so incredibly shameless. They have no shame that she can go around and expect people to believe this. This thing is on the 55th numbered list on the best-selling list, when normally, like when Michelle Obama's book came out, like 3 days in, it was like number one. Ain't nobody going to read this book because she's lying. She's absolutely lying. To try to get people to believe that she has a great relationship with Kamala and that she wanted Kamala to win is just a lie. It's a lie to say that Joe Biden got out of that election on his own. He was forced out by the party. And there's another lie, and it's audio that I should have clipped, but I inundated with Chris with stuff today, so I didn't go with it. But there's another lie where she told, I don't think it was on The View this morning, but where she said, I truly believe had Joe stayed in the race, he would have won. That's like me saying, if Luka Doncic hadn't got injured, the Lakers would have won the NBA championship. It's the same thing. In fact, I think the Lakers had a better chance than Joe Biden. The minute he said the thing about we killed Medicaid. That's not when the election was over. When Donald Trump said, yeah, you killed Medicaid, you killed it to death is what you did. And then the next goof wasn't when the election ended. The election ended when he goofed again, and Donald Trump said those immortal words that had me literally laughing out loud. I have no idea what he just said, and I don't think he has any idea what he just said. The election was over. It was done. And now, in retrospect, particularly now that the Democratic Party has given out its autopsy on why they lost, and they never mentioned the fact that Joe Biden was incompetent, and I don't mean just on decisions that he made, that he was unable to fulfill the presidency. Who was running the show? Who was running the presidency when Joe couldn't finish the sentence? When Joe was meandering off in Normandy? When Joe couldn't wave to people at the George Clooney fundraiser? When he couldn't recognize George Clooney? Who was running the country? And Jill Biden doesn't really understand. By her going on this book tour, she's just opening up old wounds. And some smart journalist out there is going to start digging and get into this auto pen situation and try to find out, was Joe Biden the 21st century Woodrow Wilson? And I don't have time to get into the history lesson right now. Google Woodrow Wilson and his wife and what happened during his term. I believe Woodrow Wilson was elected in 12, reelected in 16. Yes, because he was the president during World War I, which was from 17 to 20. So yeah, it was Wilson and then Harding. Yeah. Taft, Roosevelt, Taft, Wilson, Harding. Yeah. Go look him up because I don't have time to give you a history lesson. But Joe Biden is the Woodrow Wilson of the 21st century. We have no idea who was running the country when this guy was meandering around the White House like a 80-something-year-old man. It's sad. It's sad. It really is. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back. We'll get into the Graham Plattner situation up in Maine. He's challenging Republican Susan Collins. This is a major, major race. Along with this in Texas, this could determine the majority of the United States Senate. This thing's going to be close. And these Senate races, there's one in Iowa that we're going to be keeping an eye on tonight as well. Two Democrats are going at it to see who's going to challenge there. But this Senate race with this Nazi is one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen. You'll hear from Chuck Schumer, who, by the way, is of the Hebrew faith. You'll hear him dance around his dedication to his religion and his faith and his people and his dedication to the Democratic Party. And we'll find out in this audio which one wins. That's coming up. And then Cassie Bittle is going to make a major announcement at 5:05 on the Ralph Bailey Show. So keep it locked on Newstalk 96.1 at AM 1230, where we're streaming live at KernRadio.com. Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Oh, good God, John. You laughed at that. That's a pretty good impersonation. 842-5376, 842-KERN. So Graham Plattner is a Nazi. He went all the way to Croatia to get a Nazi swastika tattooed on his chest. He's 30 years old at the time, so he's not like a young, stupid kid. He's a grown-ass man. And he's been married 18 months, and over the weekend, well, let's go to CBS News, who talked about it this Sunday. I forget the host of Face the Nation, but here is CBS News on Graham Plattner.
The campaign for Graham Plattner confirmed to CBS on Saturday that the main Senate candidate had sent sexually explicit texts to women other than his wife. This is in addition to other past controversies. Does he pass the character test?
Yeah, I mean, I have not followed this story as closely as others have, but I mean, Graham Plattner is somebody that served our country. He served his community. He's also made mistakes, and he has admitted that.
Made mistakes? 20 different sexting messages? And I understand you're in a long marriage and things get boring and you get to 7 years. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on, let me check my notes. He's married for 18 months. He's married a year and a half, and he's cheating on his wife. And this is the guy that the people of Maine want to send to the United States. I'm sorry, maybe, in the 50s and the 60s when John Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson and then later Bill Clinton and these guys were sleeping with everybody they wanted and their wives put up with it. Maybe that was a different era in the United States. Maybe that was a different era in the world. But to me, a man who's never been married for a reason, it's not as if I've dropped to a knee several times and people have said no. I know Ralph Bailey. You've heard all the exes that I refer to. I'm not good at relationships. I'm smart enough to understand a 25, 30, 35-year relationship? Me? Have you gone crazy? But I believe if you're going to do it and you make a contract with another human being, the least you can do is be honest with her. Oh, I don't know, for the first 2 years, 18 months in the marriage, and you're already sexting other women? And that's not the worst of it. I don't know what I'm talking about, but pundits are talking about this app called Kicks. Never heard of it until yesterday, where it is apparently, have you heard of this, Chris? It's some sort of app that is an avenue for pedophiles. I'm not saying Graham Plattner is a pedophile. I am saying that I have been told by experts, reporters, people that have been talking about this story, that this app Kicks, and if you've heard about this, feel free to get in I'll check the chat room or text us, 842-5376. But this place is kind of a liaison, kind of the Tinder for pedophiles. And if it's even close to that, why isn't he on Tinder? Why isn't he on Facebook? Why isn't he on Instagram, on all these dating sites? Why is he on this controversial app that everyone that I've talked to says that it's a roadway for pedophiles? This guy is a disaster, and he's beating Susan Collins. And it just goes to show you, he's in D.C. right now, schmoozing with Democratic senators who are trying to get on board with him. I want him to win. I absolutely want him to go against Susan Collins. It's the only hope. Susan Collins has been a disaster as a Republican senator out of Maine. And why is this so big? I'm telling you, and we'll find, maybe I'm wrong, but we'll find out in just a couple of months, 5 months. But it's going to come down to Ken Paxton in Texas, another nightmare Republican candidate who could very well lose to James Tallarico. It's going to come down to Maine and Susan Collins. And again, let me be redundant. If they win the House, which is incredibly likely, not as likely as we thought because of redistricting, it's not going to be the bloodbath that we thought it would be because of all these different states doing all these different things with gerrymandering, but we're probably going to lose the House. If we screw around and lose the Senate, and I know you've heard me say this a million times, you could probably say it with me, the first thing Democrats are going to do is get rid of the filibuster, where no longer do you need 60 votes to get something passed, 50 plus your vice president, if in fact they win in 29. but 51 without the vice president. And the very first thing they do when they get rid of the filibuster is pack the United States Supreme Court. The biggest burr under their saddle is that 6-3 majority that Trump has in his palm. If this slush fund that I am dead set against gets to the Supreme Court, I'm afraid they may side with their guy. And it's the one thing that Democrats have to get rid of. And Trump's alluding to them going to 20. The number I heard was 15. That's the first thing they're going to do. The second thing they're going to do, Washington District of Columbia will become a state. As I've told you, I went to college originally from 1980 to 1984. And the biggest issue at Morehouse College and in the Atlanta University Center, outside of trying to stop apartheid and that in South Africa, was the DC state movement. It was the biggest thing on campus. They've been trying to do this for 40 years. DC, Puerto Rico, 2 states, 4 liberal senators, 104 senators, 15 members of the Supreme Court without a filibuster, and every piece of legislation gets through with a simple majority. This is a huge election. You got till 8 o'clock to do the right thing. Cassie Bittle is next.
Current radio, AM 1230.
So what are you going to do?
KERN, 96.1 FM, K241.
DUI. I'm Chris Davis. You may remember the name Ed Jagels. He was the district attorney for Kern County from 1983 to 2010. Monday, he was arrested and charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of driving under the influence. Police say Jagels was stopped on Stockdale Highway about 4:30 and was booked into jail by 7 p.m. with a $10,000 bail and a court date set for Wednesday. Police are not offering much more info for now. If you haven't voted yet, you still have plenty of time. The polls for primary election day are open through 8 this evening, and the ballot drop-offs are also available through 8. There are 20 of those throughout the county. The governor's race is not the only one on the ballot. State Senate, county supervisor for a couple of districts, and even superintendent of education are on there too. As far as turnout goes, the measurables so far include the early voting returns, and according to Bakersfield Now's data, it is a little behind early voting from 2022. By this time then, 18% of the ballots had been brought back, and as of this morning, the 2026 numbers were about 17%. That may seem like a small difference, but in California, that does mean tens of thousands of votes. Some tough times in Arvin may have some tough solutions. Right now, the city council is having to deal with the city having a $1.5 million budget shortfall, which means that the city may not be able to offer all of the services that it's been able to over the last 5 years. The city council may be looking at leaving some open positions unfilled and may also consider asking you for more money if you live there with a potential sales tax increase. No real increase, though, yet in the price of gas in California, which is now $5.99 per gallon, according to Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour, and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
To the rest well, in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want. Too late, they start shooting in a week. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this election day. You still have less than 3 hours, 2 hours, 54 minutes to get your ballot in. And as long as you get it postmarked by 8 o'clock, they will accept it for the next 7 days. So it's doubtful in some of these closer races, and I've told you some of the close races that I'm going to be watching, particularly that 16th Senate race between incumbent Melissa Hurtado, the Democrat, and, Manpreet Kaur, and the Republican Guillermo Gonzalez, the Delano restaurant owner. And so it could be Wednesday or Thursday that we get some final numbers. But as those that are watching on YouTube can see, the lovely and talented planning commissioner and owner-operator of KC Steakhouse, Cassie Bittle, has joined us live in studio. How are you? Looking lovely. Oh, look, you got your toes done and everything.
Even match the dress. That doesn't happen very often.
Peach and peach.
It's a very special day. It's election day.
It is election day. It is a very, very special day. What is new with you?
Oh, there's so much going on that we could talk and talk and talk, but today's election day, and I cannot voice enough how important it is to make sure you get that ballot in for the primaries. It was amazing how many people in the restaurant told me today that they weren't getting their ballot in because they felt like their vote didn't count. And I'm going to tell your listeners right now, that's the only time your vote doesn't count is when you don't get it in the mail or don't get it dropped off at the county elections office. It is so vital that we participate in every election that has something to do with our local government.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot more on there than just the governor race. You know, those are some of the sensationalized races that you see all over the news. But at the end of the day, it's the local stuff. It's the local politics that really have a say in how we live our lives and run our businesses in this town. So definitely get out there, get that vote in. And it amazes me how many listeners and how many people pay attention to your social media and how many phone calls I got just from one post. So Ralph Bailey, you do a good job definitely getting that information out there. So I thank everybody for all the phone calls that I got today. And I promise you that if there is a major announcement, which there is a major announcement coming, it will be right here on the Ralph Bailey Show with you because you've been along the ride with me this entire time. And I can't say thank you enough for every opportunity you've given me on this show to be able to talk about the issues that are in the downtown area and what happens in our businesses and how much city council is important and vital to every aspect of our lives here in Bakersfield. So thank you for giving me every opportunity that you have to come on here and make new friends and to be able to get my voice out there.
Well, thank you for that compliment. And it's unfortunate that there's not going to be an announcement made today. And I will just give you this advice, and I hope there are a lot of people listening. Your future is your future. And when you get into politics, you're going to have a lot of people in your ear. People that don't have the temerity to put their name on a ballot, but they like to play expert and they believe that they know better. But you have to go with your gut because you have to live with Cassie Bittle. You have to make the decisions. And no matter where it comes from, it's up to you. Don't let anybody run your life within the political world or in the restaurant world, in the business world. You would never sit for that at your restaurant. If I came in and said, really ought to change that pork chop, you'd be like, okay, yeah, Ralph, we're going to change that. Daniel, we ain't changing nothing. Don't listen to Bailey. What does he know? That's what you should be telling some of the people that are in your ear. But this is my life, and I'm going to live it the way I deem best. And I am, I don't know how to describe certain people, but I'll just, for now, keep my mouth shut.
That advice, I can't agree more. And when I first started all of this back in about 2018, I was told multiple times, you have to keep politics and religion out of your business and out of the conversations with your customers if you want to stay successful. Well, my mother and I have owned Casey Steakhouse since 2012. And since 2018, I quit listening to that advice and I started talking to the people around me and seeking wisdom from those that pay attention to the issues in town and getting the opinions of people that I maybe wouldn't usually get opinions from. And it's amazing how much you can learn from just listening to those around you. And
yes,
you are definitely one of the loudest supporters that I have and one of the most wise friends that I have alongside Michael Turnipseed and Les Clark. And you can go on. And at the beginning of this, they told me it can be dangerous to have politics in your business. And I will say I have gained nothing but friends, customers, wisdom, and appreciation for my city and how things work from taking that leap off of the diving board into this world. And it's been a long road and it's been disappointing. And I know that government is very difficult and it takes a lot of learning. And I feel like I've learned a lot in the last 8 years. I think that, with the homeless crisis and the pandemic and so many different things that have affected the business, I've learned a lot, but I also have so much more to learn. And I'm going to learn that from your listeners and from the people that are around me. So,
and I hope if you learn anything from me, you learn that you can't always rely on political experts, so-called political experts, because the professionals often have their own interests in heart, and they have sometimes a conflict where they're looking out for something and they're giving you advice, when in fact that advice is trying to impact somebody else. It's not really impacting you. And so, I poo-poo a lot of these political so-called experts who get paid to get people elected, but don't have the temerity of their own to put their name on a ballot. But they'll certainly tell you how to run a campaign, Jack, or how to run your life. And it just seems to me that's wrong. That's wrong. But an advisor should be to just be able to push you or give you advice, but they should not be telling you what to do. And they damn sure shouldn't be telling me what to do on my damn show, or they'll never appear on this show again, ever.
Ralph, I love your passion, and I hope to have that passion too. And it's
anger right now, and I apologize, and I shouldn't have lost my temper, but I'm a flawed man.
I've had those moments throughout my time of getting to know this city, and I know that I don't understand campaigns. I don't understand the campaign process. I don't understand any of the politics that come behind it. What I understand is community service. I understand getting out there and getting involved. And it doesn't mean just showing up to a city council meeting. That means showing up to the downtown cleanups that we have when we had issues. It's being there for your community and getting to know those around them. So as far as what I know how to get out there and to hear my constituents, and I know how to listen. And I know that God gave me 2 ears, two eyes, and only 1 mouth. So I am trying to learn that a little bit better, but at the same time, learning to stand up for myself and realizing that sometimes not all wisdom is good wisdom.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And I am just going to have a long road ahead of me of trying to figure all this out, because politics are scary. They are volatile. It sometimes isn't even the other side that is your worst enemy. Sometimes it can be, those that you call friends. So I have a lot to learn, and I'm thankful that I have you along the way, because you're my passionate friend, and I've got several of those. Blodgy Rodriguez, she's listening
Love
too.
Blodgy.
Don't you? And they're my feisty friends, and they're the ones that, keep me grounded as well, that not everything has to be polished and has to be perfect. It just has to be real, and it has to be my true opinions, how I feel, and what I think is better for this community. And at the end of the day, every opinion I have is mine, and I will be a wild card until the last days and through the pandemic.
I do know this. I don't know one human being that doesn't want to see you get more involved with this community. They've seen you be a part of the planning commission. They've seen you on the Jim Wheeler's board. They've seen you ensconced in this community. They've seen the genius that you have done with your restaurant as a young businesswoman. You're not even 40 freaking years old. I hate your guts. And you are an established businesswoman with an iconic restaurant that's going on almost 90 years old. And you've improved it beyond what anybody could have thought it would have ever been back in the good old days, the 90s. You've taken it to another level, and just your involvement. Everybody wants to see you get involved. And again, I would just give you advice to listen to your heart, listen to your family, and don't necessarily listen to these so-called experts. And I'm going to make a major announcement. We're going to make some changes on the Ralph Bailey Show. I just made that determination. We are going to make some dramatic changes effective immediately on the Ralph Bailey Show. I appreciate you coming in. I love the food. Chris, you can have the tacos. I got the chicken pot pie soup, and you can have the sweets.
Not say no to that.
Tell them where the desserts are coming from.
See, this is the exciting stuff for me.
I know.
I am
I forget we're on television.
as politically
Let's take a look at
speaking
this.
as well.
Look at this. Go ahead, tell them where it's from.
So we've partnered with Tastry's Bakery over off of Rosedale Highway. They are a local bakery that uses no preservatives. They have gluten-free options. They use organic products, and they use all fresh ingredients. So this is our strawberry cream cheese bar. It is layers of fresh strawberries with cream cheese and then a streusel on top. We also have it in a churro bar as well. Oh yeah, so good. We have that one, and then we also have their honey cheesecake right now, which is specially made for Cassie Steakhouse, and it is a honey-infused cheesecake that we top with berries, and then she's made these cute little white chocolate honeycombs that go on the top of our cheesecake. So it's been really exciting to be able to highlight another local restaurant and be able to serve their products in our restaurant and be proud of our community and what we can do.
And you know, Kathy Miller is my fictional girlfriend. I absolutely love her and her husband. They are a great couple.
Did you know that was actually my first job when I was 16
Really?
years old? It used to be called Cookies by Design, and it was owned by a sweet lady named Mary Sue Ballou, who was actually Monica's grandmother. So Monica that used to work for me.
Really?
It went full circle. So Mary Sue gave me my first job at 16 as a baker and a cookie decorator, and then I got to give Monica her first job as a bartender and cocktail waitress at Casey Steakhouse.
Crazy.
I love it. I love this town. I love everything that is Bakersfield. We are all connected on so many different levels.
Really are. I was in a golf tournament with some strange guys that I just met. I was playing with, and they were like, "You're an LA guy? You've been here this long?" I go, "No, I hate Bakersfield." "Oh, no, I hate it, but the people have kept me here." I said the people are just extraordinary.
Kathy Miller's one of those. She's a good Christian woman.
She's one of those people.
She stands on her beliefs, and we've got to have respect for a business owner that's willing to do that.
And I completely disagree with her.
Yeah,
I completely disagree with her, but I respect her ability to fight and her ability to believe in what she believes. And I absolutely adore her, and I think she absolutely adores me. We've got a great relationship. She's very. She always comes to me when she's got a story to break for us. So. All right, that's great that you've added that to us. Thanks for coming in.
I appreciate you, Ralph.
Can't lie and say I'm not a little bit disappointed, but you got to do what you got to do.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We got to give everything due time, and we got to give respect to the candidates that are on our ballot today. This is a serious race, and it is very important that if you are not registered to vote, please get registered to vote before the next election. We have another one coming up on November 3rd. That's going to be a very important race, so we need to make sure that everybody's registered, paying attention to the local candidates and the policies that are coming up, and make sure that we know what we want for ourselves.
Absolutely. Well said. Cassie Bittle, restaurateur, planning commissioner, and overall good egg.
I appreciate that.
Quick timeout. We're coming right back. And the major announcement today was there are going to be some massive shakeups on the Ralph Bailey Show, effective immediately. In the meantime, it's TRBS, News Talk 96.1 at AM 1230. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
to you.
Handing him my black card.
I'm pretty sure there's been a couple people that have been asking for that for a while.
There it is. There's my black card. I know it says Luigi's on it, but that's my black card. I had to turn that in. Wow. Wow. Is that the Jacksons? No, it's the Osmonds. Is that Al Green? No, it's Andy Williams. Oh, my bad. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, I want to thank Cassie Bittle for joining us, and stay tuned. Stay tuned. That's all I can say. She is a wonderful human being. She is, and she will be a wonderful addition to whatever she intends to do in the near future. In the meantime, we don't have a lot of time to get into anything, but what do you got on the board?
Let's see. Get rid of the filibuster. LOL. Republicans just look representation from blacks in the South. No problem for Ralph Bailey.
What?
I have no idea. This one's out of left field.
Try that one more time.
It says, get rid of the filibuster. LOL. Republicans just took representation from blacks in the South. No problem for Ralph Bailey. I'm lost.
You need a code finder to get through that. I have no idea what he's talking about. What else you got? I wish I could respond to that, but I don't understand the statement.
Let's see. Michael Dukakis can finally pass the torch from his cringeworthy ride in the M1 Abrams wearing a huge helmet. Now that Pete Hegseth's attempt at the karaoke drill with the troops, he looked like a deer trying to escape from barbed wire.
This must have happened yesterday. I was out of the loop.
Did you not see this video?
No.
There's a video out right now of Pete Hegseth doing karaoke drills, and it's bad.
Really?
It's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I was on the golf course yesterday. I want to shout out to Samantha Laura, who created the Hey There Delilah Foundation. We had on the show last week. I hope you heard her. And Stephanie Pease, who invited me. I have to apologize because I had to cut out after 13 holes. The good news is, Chris, the leak is over.
Huh?
I have a brand new spanking faucet in my bathroom basin.
Nice.
It's gorgeous. And it has two valves, a hot and a cold.
Yeah.
And you're saying, well, Ralph, doesn't everybody? No, my old one was one centerpiece thing that you turned left for hot and right for cold, and you pushed down on it to stop. And I had like a little drip. And as I've tried to explain to you people, and I don't know if you take me seriously or not, I'm not very bright. I know a lot about presidential history. I know a lot about history. I know a lot about wars. I know a lot about journalism and communications, but I'm not that bright. So I let this drip I was telling JR about a month ago, the drip is getting so bad, JR, I have to close the bathroom door for it not to bug me. So I know what you're screaming at your radio. Why, you idiot, would you just not call Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe? What I used to call my real estate company. I don't call them that anymore because I like them. But I used to call them Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. It's an old Three Stooges gag. Anyway, why would you not call them? Because I'm not that bright. How many times do I have to tell you? Well, finally on Friday, the drip became a pour. And I'm like, okay. And the real reason is I'm not stupid. These people have been patient with me. I went through a typical bad period in my life where the maintenance of my apartment was not up to snuff. And I've since changed that. No, I haven't changed. I found Lydia. Oh, I love Lydia, my housekeeper. And so these people have been patient with me. I've been there for 13 years. They've raised my rent twice. I shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm paying less for a 2-bedroom than most people pay for a 1-bedroom. They're going to have to drag me out of this place. So my owners and my real estate people have been so cool to me. I'm reluctant to complain about anything. You remember when I missed something and I got in trouble for it because my living room was flooded with water? and it came from upstairs. Well, they haven't even fixed the roofing where it caved in because I just don't want to complain. I am so happy with where I live. Like I said, I've lived here for 13 years. That guy's raised my rent twice. He could get $700-800 more for that my apartment than he does. And Jason's just a good guy, and Lindsay and the people at my real estate company are really good people. And so I had to be there. But here's the thing. You remember when I lost my keys 2 years ago? And because I left them in the mailbox, and the drug addict boyfriend next door who doesn't live there anymore stole my keys after the Dodger game, and I had to have a locksmith come and change the locks. Well, I haven't given my real estate people a copy of the key. Yeah. So when they called me on the golf course and they said, hey, the maintenance guy is going to be there at 1:30, I panicked because now I have to be there or they're going to find out that I don't. And I'm going to give them, it's not that I'm trying to keep it from them. I just never gave them a key. And I'm now going to give them a copy of the key, obviously. But I had to be there to let the guy in. And so I had to leave the tournament early. And what's crazy, Chris, I played 3 days in a row, and this was the best day I played yesterday. They had a hole. I don't care. We're going to go long because I got to tell this. Well, I'll tell after the break. My highlight is a great story. Well, no, it's not a great story, but haven't you all figured out why I talk about golf on this show? Do I have to quote the famous fictional character Bonnie Fife, aka Don Knotts, on why I talk about golf on this show? It's therapeutic. It's therapeutic.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Keith Peters in Washington. For a state that's home to Hollywood, there isn't much star power in California's gubernatorial race.
Next time, this is on the menu, the chicken pot pie soup. You got to have it. Have we done the KC spot yet? Damn. Because I was going to pump up. This is the best soup they have. It tastes like a chicken pot pie. It really does.
In recent years, Republicans, meanwhile, are grappling with a New Jersey congressman whose unexplained absence could put their already slim majority at risk.
I'm a favorite.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 228 points. The NASDAQ rose 7. The S&P 500 advanced 9. More details at SRNnews.com.
Diabetes, high blood. Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. What the numbers say on primary election day. As of now, according to Bakersfield Now, the early voting numbers are a bit below where they were during the last statewide primary in 2022, with 17% of people with ballots having returned them by this morning compared to 18% from last time. The polls are open through 8 this evening, and the ballot drop-offs are also available through 8 this evening. Former Kern County DA Ed Jagels was arrested Monday on suspicion of driving under the influence. He was pulled over about 4:30 on Stockdale Highway, according to police, and booked into jail about 7 last night with a court date set for Wednesday. Jagels was DA for 28 years and retired in 2010. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Are you craving a mouth-watering sandwich just packed with flavor? Then look no further than Caesar's Deli, where they craft some of the best sandwiches in town. Sink your teeth into our signature classic, Caesar's Special, featuring 2 kinds of salami, premium ham, and the irresistible taste of Nona's secret meat sauce. It's a sandwich experience that you won't forget. That's not the only sandwich they offer. No. Satisfy your cravings with a savory smoked turkey sandwich, or indulge yourself with the loaded pastrami. Or for the adventurous eater, they offer pickled tongue. And here's the best part. Caesar's Deli has incredible lunch specials that are designed to fill you up without emptying your wallet. Plus, did you know that Caesar's Deli has a full-service deli offering a variety of over 60 meats and cheeses? It's a sandwich lover's paradise, and that's why Caesar's Deli has been a local favorite and proudly serving Bakersfield since 1971. Visit Caesar's Deli today and taste the difference for yourself. Located at the corner of Brimhall and Callaway, behind the beautiful water fountain.
Did you know termites can silently feast on your home for 3 to 4 years before you see any damage? They can literally eat a bedroom wall in less than 2 years, causing major structural damage to your biggest investment. Don't wait for the evidence to appear. Ryan's Termite is running an early bird special. If you know or even suspect that you have termites, get on Ryan's schedule now for an additional 10% off our already lowest price. All work is guaranteed. There's no money down and no contracts. Plus, in most cases, you won't even have to move or tent your house. Protect your home and save. Call Ryan's today. That's Ryan'sTermiteControl.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, there's a lot going on. We got election results. We got Dr. Dev talking about medicine. John Cox from the Californian will administer a very crooked news quiz. And we've got all the latest and state-of-the-art news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Drowning all tears. Oh, you are the sunshine of my life. Yeah. So I'll away. Any sunglasses in there? No. You are the apple of my eye. Yeah, baby. Whenever you say the song. Stevie Wonder. I thought that I was lonely. Because you came to my rescue. Ooh. That this must be heaven. How could so much love be inside of you? When I hit those high notes, you gotta get the volume way up. You are the sunshine of my life. Yeah, baby.
You two do that. Stop me on that.
Yeah, that's not. 842-537-6842 KERN. What audio have we not played, Mr. Burdick? Let's hear from, I was going to play Mr. Pence. Let's hear from Chuck Schumer.
Gotcha.
Mr. Schumer is a member of the Hebrew faith. He is supporting Graham Plattner for Democrat senator from the great state of Maine, which is the, what is Maine? The lobster state? Hey, Siri, what is the state of Maine? That's a stupid question.
Here's some info about Maine.
Maine is a state. What is the nickname for Maine? I don't know. Anybody know that? I know that Augusta is the capital, correct? Is Augusta the capital of Maine? Yes, it is. Its largest city is Portland. I don't know what the nickname is. Is it the lobster state? Anybody
The Pine Tree State.
The Pine Tree State. I would have never guessed that. Where Susan Collins is in deep doo-doo. As I said at the top of the show, not a really good time for incumbents, which says a lot, which gets back to my original editorial. If you were with us in the 3 o'clock hour, the reason that the incumbent mayor can't even win outright, the reason that there's no overwhelming leader for the gubernatorial race, the reason that a reality show villain most likely or could possibly be in a runoff for mayor is because of incompetence. Incumbents thrive when things are going well. Incumbents are, in the words of Ralph Bailey, quoting his nephew, are in deep doo-doo because nobody's happy. The country right now, what would you give it? C minus? And the only thing that's getting us out of summer school is the fact that millionaires and billionaires are doing really well. You know, that's Gavin Newsom's first line. California is the 4th largest economy on the planet. We have a bigger economy than most countries. That's right. Because if you're a millionaire, a billionaire tech exec in Northern California living in San Francisco, you're making hundreds of millions of dollars. If you're in Hollywood, if you're in the industry, if you're in entertainment down in Los Angeles, you're making hundreds of millions of dollars. But the rest of us are living the real life. So, of course, between the tech companies in the Northern California and what is remains of Hollywood, because even Hollywood's been devastated by the stupidity of California, and the shows and movies that were once produced in the streets of Los Angeles are now in Tennessee, or they're shooting in New York, or any place but California. So, of course, we've got this mega economy. And if you're a millionaire or a billionaire, life in California is outstanding. You got your house in Lake Tahoe, maybe that house down in Newport. You're flying all over the state. You're going to the beach, boop, a bop, a bip, a boo. But if you're a school teacher and your husband is a mechanic, you're making pretty good money. But the government is killing you. It's not as if school teachers make bad money, but the government saps so much from them that at the end of the day, they've got to make decisions. Are we going to Disney World this year or are we not? And that is a big deal in the life of a family. Or whether their kids are just going to run around all summer or there's a family going to go. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but we did something every single summer, whether it was just going to Beaufort, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia, or whether it was going to Orlando for Disney World or San Diego for the safari and see what we did something over the summer. Some families just can't do that. Some families' kids are growing up with crooked teeth because mom and dad just can't afford the orthodontist. It's those kind of life-altering decisions that people in the 4th largest economy in the world are having to make. And you've got that pretty boy idiot, former mayor of San Francisco and governor of this state, telling people, oh, we're the land of milk and honey. If you listen to Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, you would think that Los Angeles and California was that beacon on the hill. And the sad thing about it is we were. I loved going to the South in the summer and watching my friends' eyes light up when I would say, I'm from California. What? You're from California? What part? Ha ha! Here's the killer. Los Angeles. I'm from the best city in California. Like, what? Really? You know any celebrities? Well, do you know Michael Landon? You know Michael Landon? No, I don't know Michael Landon. Are you crazy? I sit next to his daughter in my 6th grade English class at the Buckley School in Sherman Oaks, California. Heard of Clark Gable? Come on, Clark Gable's been dead. Yeah, but he had a son before he passed away, and I sit next to him in science class. John Gable, horrible athlete. You've heard of Roy, anyway, but no longer. People ask me where I'm from. I'm like, yo soy cubano. Me llamo Rafael from Havana. 2030, we're expected to lose more people. We're going to lose more congressional districts, which means less electoral college votes. But to listen to Karen Bass, to listen to Gavin Newsom, to listen to Javier Becerra and Tom Steyer, we're the land of milk and honey. And if for whatever reason everybody's running to Tennessee and Texas and Florida and Nevada, anywhere but here. And I think within a decade, you're going to find your boy in Beaufort, South Carolina. I really, 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 really do. I was on the phone with my uncle this past weekend about some property that we own, and I think we're about to sell. I think we're finally about to sell that property. I know I shouldn't do it, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. That's a personal thing. Anyway, let's read a couple text messages before we get to the final break.
So Kilmar Abrego Garcia will get money for from the weaponization fund. He was wrongfully prosecuted. Fat chance. Teresa is just wrong.
And she's not often, but you're absolutely right. She's wrong about that. He's talking about the Maryland dad who was prosecuted, and we all thought he was a villain, and I still think he was. I think he was a gangbanger, but a judge has determined that he was wrongfully prosecuted. And you are brilliant. You have stumbled staggeringly, haphazardly in the truth. Where were you about 2 hours ago when I was going at it with our lovely judge? But you're absolutely right. She couldn't be more wrong. That this picked panel by Todd Blanche, again, the president's former personal attorney, who he put in the AG's office, knowing that he was going to get rid of Bondi and make his personal attorney head of the Department of Justice, and he has. And Blanche gets to pick the board that was going to dole out the money. And remember, the members were not going to tell us who they picked. The members were not going to tell us how much money these criminals received, nor were they going to tell us what process they went to determine what criminals got money and what didn't. And it just blows my mind that there is anybody on this planet that thinks such a non-transparent distribution of $2 billion is okie dokie. That's copacetic. That's good by you. That's kosher. That's the right on. I'm trying to think of errors. You really think that's the cool thing to do? Let's not know how the money's being spent, but let's spend it. That's insane. That is almost the definition of insanity. I think sometimes they call it Congress, where you just dole out the money and don't even know who's doling it out, why they're doling it out, how much you're doling it out. We don't tell you that. We don't have to tell you that. There's no transparency in the democracy. What's the matter with you? We do whatever the hell we want, and you'll live with it. That's insane. Let's go ahead and take our final break on this election night. You have 2 hours, 15 minutes to get your ballot in. If you have not voted, you are part of the problem. You are not helping. 2 hours, 45 minutes. Even if you're not registered, get up off your lazy ass and get downtown. Although the latest we've heard downtown is it's still shut down. We have a national story going on at my bank. I'm a Chase Bank guy, and that's my branch, the downtown branch, walking distance from my home. The latest that we have heard is one hostage has been released. The FBI are on the scene, as Mr. Flores reported early in the broadcast. I believe you reported it, or did you tell me this about the helicopters from Los Angeles?
We had a texter tell us that, but JR did say that an FBI investigator was on the way from LA. So.
And we've been told a team of helicopters, of FBI helicopters, the feds are on the way. We were told also this is a Marine who has a bomb attached to his body. He is on the second floor of the Chase Bank building downtown. He has a beef with the Kern superintendent of schools office, which is part of it is adjacent to that Chase Bank. I know that the big office is down the street, down from Eureka's on 17th Street, but there's also an office in there where the Chase Bank is, where I was just in that bank not 2 weeks ago. We will take our final break of the night on this election day. Keep it locked. Scott Jennings at the top of the hour. Tomorrow's a Wednesday. No Howard Marcus. We had Howard today. He made his debut on his new Tuesday appearance. We're going to meet, I should say, the new athletic director at Bakersfield College. Lynn Kennedy will be our guest. And hopefully we'll have some numbers for you and kind of dissect my predictions and what's next as we now, from June, head to November and the general election. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230.
Did I do adaptive? We didn't have adaptive today?
No, we did. It was just early.
Oh, you ran it?
Yeah, I had to run it.
Okay.
No, we'll do all new ones tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, it's so good.
Whenever you're ready to, you're set. Whenever you're ready, you're set for the promo.
Oh, what did we do today? Three, two. So maybe Steve Hilton doesn't make it to the final two, and maybe Spencer Pratt doesn't make it to the runoff with Karen Bass. But how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And we as Republicans in a Democratic state have never been closer to change. Let's keep up the pressure. If not now, then 2030, 2034. But we are going to change this state. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday, TRBs. We'll know Howard Marcus. He's now on Tuesdays, but we will meet the new athletic director at Bakersfield College, Lynn Kennedy. All that plus obvious election results on the Ralph Bailey Show, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. I'll see you at 3.
Local history reimagined for what's next. MoneyWise, thoughtful planning, real conversations. Visit moneywiseguys.com to get started.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through LPL Financial. LPL Financial and MoneyWise Wealth Management are independently owned and operated.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-269-3394. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-269-3394. 800-269-3394. 800-269-3394.
Wake up, y'all. This here's Mia the Mosquito. Me and my girls are back and ready to chew up Kern County. You know we like a good party.
Help fight the bite, Kern County. Dump all standing water and remember to apply insect repellent. If you do have a mosquito problem, visit kernmosquito.com. It's a free service.
Or don't, and we can all hang out together like we did last year, leaving your windows and doors open.
Visit kernmosquito.com.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
They should have had me cut that spot. That's the worst Southern accent I've ever heard. That woman was from Southern Bakersfield. That's what she went to South High School. That woman from the damn South. And as you can tell at this point now, I just don't even give a damn. Now I'm eating on the air openly. That's soup at Casey's Steakhouse. You know, I rarely talk about the soups. They really, Chef Daniel does an outstanding job. The chicken tortilla is really good. Obviously, the clam chowder on Friday. But the chicken pot pie, that's my absolute favorite. It's like a liquid chicken pot pie with this big piece of bread in the middle and just chunks of chicken and peas and carrots and little green beans. So good. So good. I just got some miscellaneous stuff that I wanted to play for you. This is Darren Carr, local BCHS coach for the state competing championship team. They lost the state championship, but they got there. This guy's been a phenomenal coach. And he talks about when he first started. This is funny and poignant, and I just love this. He went on his brother's podcast. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Darren Carr's older brother is David Carr. I'm being sarcastic. And his younger brother played for the Raiders. I don't know if you're familiar with that either. He's the only one that actually went to BCHS is Derek. Darren and David, as I'm sure you know as well, all went to Stockdale. And I guess they finally got smart and sent to BCH. But anyway, here is head coach, BCHS faculty member, and middle brother. I didn't know this either. I thought Darren was the oldest. David is the oldest. Here they are all together on David and Derek's podcast.
We got hired in 2015.
Yeah.
So he's fresh out.
I had the New York Giants 2012 Super Bowl quarterback guy.
Yeah, great.
I said, we're putting all this
Of
in because they
course.
won a Super Bowl.
Put it in.
It's good enough for that. It's good enough to beat Taft.
That's all in one day, though.
All in one
pretty
day.
egregious.
It was an hour and a half meeting.
No, you did not.
I said, learn it. There was one kid in there that was locked in. Everybody else was
This
like,
offense is like option routes.
everything.
Oh, yeah.
All you want, bro.
It was
All you
great.
can
It was-
handle.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking at the kids, and they're just like, when we tell kids to bring stuff and write stuff down, and they're not writing stuff down, but they have stuff in their hand, it's just they can't.
It's a lot to handle.
The high school kids,
There's
they
a way we
don't
do
understand
things.
the way
Yeah.
Justin Tuck and
They
OC
don't
Ramirez understand.
They don't
Eli
understand.
Manning. And it's tough for you guys to realize that these guys aren't those guys.
I love that story. I absolutely, and I should have prefaced it for you and kind of given you an idea of what they were talking about. So Darren basically said he first got hired there in 2015. And that's right after David won a Super Bowl with the New York Giants. Granted, he was on the sidelines. I don't give a damn. He was part of the 53, and he's got a ring. And I bet when he first started, he was starting to wear that. I bet at the beginning of the season, he wears it for the newcomers just to show I was a badass. I got unfortunate luck, and I got stuck on an expansion team whose best player was 35 years old, Bruce Matthews, his malingering left tackle, who was a stud at 30, 25. But at 35, Bruce Matthews' career was in his rearview mirror. And to be blunt, as most of you know, David just got beat up. If David Carr ends up on any other team, he is a successful quarterback in the National Football League. I think he would have had a better career than his brother. I really believe that. I've always thought that David was the better quarterback amongst the two and the better thrower amongst the two. That's debatable. But the fact that he came in with the Giant playbook, the New York Football Giants playbook, I absolutely love, just because I remember, and this is stupid, but it's therapeutic. I coached the 7th and 8th grade flag football team when I was in my 20s. It was my girlfriend's nephew who was our star. And that's what I did. I took my high school playbook, and the one thing, let's give Chris Burdick a quiz. What is the one thing that young football players just can't adjust to in terms of defending an offense?
Counter.
Misdirection. Exactly. Misdirection. You can sit a quarterback, a defensive end, and a right linebacker down all day and say, stay home.
Yep.
Don't commit to the sweep until you know it's a sweep.
Yep.
And you want this. You want them to be aggressive, but as soon as they see the sweep, they're going to go. So I brought in my high school thing. And all we ran was misdirections. I had not only a reverse, which was money, but I had we called it a 46 sweep quarterback throwback, where I'd throw it to Josh, my best athlete, my tailback, Bernadine, my girlfriend's nephew. He'd throw it back to my quarterback, a lateral, and either take off with it, or we had 46 sweep quarterback throwback Y up, where we'd run the sweep, run the throwback. Meantime, Michael, my wide receiver, is standing by himself in the end zone, and all my kid had to do was throw it, and we won a championship. And then there was the great story of the second championship. That's another story. But I just love that David brought in the NFL playbook for some high school kids, and they implemented it. And again, like they said, they got to the state championship last year. Unfortunately, didn't win it, but they've got a great program. And why wouldn't you? With David Carr as your offensive coordinator, if you're Darren, what are you gonna? You're gonna overrule your NFL quarterback brother? I doubt it. And Derek was on the sidelines this year, and I know Roger, the dad, is involved. It's a cool familial situation over there. Let's read a text message and go watch election results.
My son graduated from Centennial High School in this past week. Kathy Scrivener was the KHSD representative, and no one clapped when she was announced.
Wow. I'm shocked I didn't boo.
Honestly. Yeah.
I'm shocked I didn't boo. And Cynthia Zimmer apparently is going to be on this radio program later this week. You want my opinion?
I think at this point everybody is worried that volume went out again.
That's going to do it for us. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. I will rap to you tomorrow. Go vote!
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN. 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Democrats redrew California's congressional map to counter President Trump's efforts in Texas.
I look like a big jerk.
The primary today will test whether it pays off for them.
California Democrats got voters to let them redraw the state's congressional map to potentially gain 5 seats in the U.S. House to counter GOP redistricting in Texas. Today's primary tests if that paid off. Political analyst Alyssa Michelson explains why.
The top 2 vote together system, which means that all of the candidates, regardless of political party, run on the same ballot. And that means that sometimes you get a race where it's 2 Democrats running against each other in November. Other times you get 2 Republicans.
In this case, Democrats hope